brought to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
When buying or selling your home, you need to feel protected. Realtor Mike Burgoyne not only looks out for your interests, but as a St. Louis area police officer will make sure you feel safe and well-informed with every decision. Email Mike at strikewithmike.com and start the process today. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com. Welcome to episode 29 of season 13. This is episode number 460 all-time of the often imitated, never duplicated. I can't really hear what Jeremy said because I've got 2 Stanley Cup rings plugged in my ears. It's hard for me to understand what he says. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsor, Realtor Mike Burgoyne. You can email at mike at strikewithmike.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please utilize him if you're buying or selling property. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for some well-designed and fairly priced Blues-themed t-shirts. Check us out on Discord. We are new and improved. letsgoblues.com/Discord. It is Wednesday, May 1st, and we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, replacing the instructional videos at Six Flags, wherever you get live video casts. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all social channels is at LGB Radio. Just search for us and you'll find us. And if you haven't already done so, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, buy a t-shirt from our shop, punch Chris Chelios in the face and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio told you to do it, or do whatever you can do to help us out. I still hate Chris Chelios.
Yeah, you don't want to. Do you want to mangle that face any more than it already is?
God, he is just such a punchable face. Like, I can't think of a more punchable face than his.
Well, I mean, he will. Yeah, I will never play for Detroit. Have you seen that interview?
I will retire.
I will retire before I play for the Red Wings.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Yep. Oh, I've seen that. Yep. Yeah. So not only is he a scumbag, he's a liar.
So what you're saying is he's a liar.
Yep.
Yeah. The primary reason for the puck over the glass penalty in today's NHL, because that was
true.
That was his MO.
He did that a lot. And I tell you what, people today, they want to say, if I could change one rule in the NHL, it'd be to get rid of that penalty. I'm like, I like it, because I remember when players used to just dump that fucking puck over the glass all the time to relieve pressure. I hated it. I hated it so much.
I actually don't mind it either. I think older fans who remember that would agree. It's a penalty that's necessary sometimes.
Yeah, because people forget. It's been a while since that was instituted, and it was a pain. People complained all the time about players doing that. There's a reason why it exists today. So
I am your host, Jeff Pondard. I'm joined, of course, by the 2 men you've already heard, Bill Day and Kurt Price. Producer Austin is currently facing allegations. I wish it was for punching Chris Chelios. The agenda for tonight includes reliving one of the worst moments in a Blues fan's life. All that and more on this spunky episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. So we've got summer shows have started. This is the first time we've ever started with a mystery hockey theater, which I love. I think we should try and do a couple of these this summer because they are a lot of fun, at least for us. I don't care about anyone else. We definitely picked it. We have never watched a loss together before. Sorry for the spoiler. We will be doing that tonight.
I've never seen this game before.
Really? Well, okay. This up until the in 2019, this game, it traumatized me so bad when it happened, and I never got over this game. This game just stuck with me for ever.
Me too.
20 years, whatever it was. So
yes, it was this and this that got us past it, right? So
20 plus years, right? Yeah,
right. We can talk about it and be fine with it now.
it was just one of those games where you were so emotionally invested because of the way the Blues and the Red Wings were at the time. There were, I mean, rivals. Blues fans hated Detroit so much. And to fall short in this series the way they did, it just...
Matthew Carpenter chiming in, and I'm sure we will say this many times, what I'm about to say. That goal still haunts me. I believe if Grant Fjord doesn't get hurt, that team had some mojo that playoffs. Fuck Nick Kypreos. That is going to be my mantra for tonight. Fuck Nick Kypreos.
Here's the deal with that, too, though, is that Casey played really well
in
that Detroit series. So, I mean, I know Grant, I mean, obviously you lose number one goalie. It's you know, it is what it is, but
John Casey was like, you know, he was a 1A somewhere else at that point in his career, right?
He only played a few games that season too.
Yep.
How much he played, so he was fresh.
Having to get, well, and you know, that's kind of the joke, right? Because like, you think about it, I mean, that dude, you know, mentally think of it as a goalie. That dude having to step in after really not playing a lot all year, having to step in. Hey, by the way, Blues have major cup aspirations. We've got two of the greatest players to ever play the game on this roster. John Casey, you're going to lead us against the Red Wings. You know, I mean, good Lord.
He played in 9 games and only started a few, right? Okay, game started. That was back when they didn't keep track of games started, but he played in 9 games, and Grant Fuhr played in 79. So Fuhr started 79 games, and Casey started 3.
That is absolutely insane.
Jablonski started 1, or Jablonski played in 1, and Racine played in 11. Bruce Racine, the forgotten goalie that year, 11 games.
Yep,
more than Casey.
Here's a fun little trivia question in case you guys have not looked. Who was John Casey's backup for all 7 games in this series?
Oh, that had to be Jablonski, right?
It was not Jablonski.
Did they get somebody? It wasn't Racine, was it?
It was Bruce Racine.
Okay.
He was their backup the entire series. I'm guessing in Toronto, too, after Fuhr went down. But, yeah, it was Racine. He did see a couple minutes, actually 33 seconds of ice time. I'm not sure of what game this was, but in this series, he did see 33 seconds. So
right, that's
I don't know.
That's a Mike Keenan goalie switch timeout. I'm sure.
That's probably exactly what it was.
33 seconds. Yeah, 1 game.
Yep. Interesting stuff.
Bruce Racine, war number 29.
Because he had over a 900 save percentage, which was pretty good. In that era, especially against the Red Wings too. Well, finish off Toronto and then,
Well, we'll get back to this game here in a little bit because clearly that is the big thing. But we've got some segments we want to get to, especially some Blues news that actually did come out this week that we'll get to quickly, and then we will take a break and we will watch this game. So first of all, let's get into our announcements. So again, we are in our summer shows, so you can still expect to hear from us at least me every week. But throughout the summer, just make sure you stay tuned to us on social media. We will let you know when our shows will air or when they'll post, whatever. Not as many live ones over the summer. So those of you who like to listen live, we won't be around as much for you, but make sure you check the podcast. And then, of course, the video that will get posted every week as well. I will also add that I will be on the Puck podcast again, filling in for Doug Stolhand this week, actually for the next 3 weeks. So I'm actually really excited about it this time because I get to sit and talk playoff hockey, which is going to be awesome. So if you like this show and you like me for whatever reason, chat on over to the Puck podcast the next 3 weeks. I'll be talking with Eddie Garcia about all the playoff games and all the NHL news coming out for the next 3 weeks. So puckpodcast.com.
You'll have a couple of, at least one big thing in common, and that is that your teams won't be playing at that point.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. We record this week's show tomorrow, so we'll see if that'll be the case for all 3 weeks.
Well, as of this second, they will be
Yep.
out.
Yep.
That's a pretty bad goal by Riddick. So
I agree. For those unaware, Eddie Garcia, who you probably, I guarantee you've heard his voice if you've listened to any ESPN radio, because every now and then his voice pops up. He does a lot of the like morning announcements and stuff. He is a huge LA Kings fan. So he is obviously rooting for his Kings right now, but it's not looking good for him. They need a goaltender. Bill Day, when are you going to be ready to play goal? LA needs a goalie.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how the chronicling goes this summer.
Yes, that I didn't put that in the announcements, but real quick, let's mention that. I'm having some issues getting guests. I had told everyone here that I was going to do influencers, hockey influencers on social media. I will tell you right now, it was easier to get alumni than it has been to try and track down some of these influencers. They are, I guess they're just busy people with the content they're putting out. So I've got a couple lined up, but I'm thinking, man, I don't know if I'm able to fill the whole summer. So something Bill and I are discussing is chronicling. Is that a word?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Chronicling his return to playing ice hockey goalie. So we'll figure out the schematics of that. But for those of you who love Bill's save of the week and have loved kind of getting to know him as a goalie, that is something we're talking about doing this summer. So with me already playing hockey and, I'm going to probably be around helping him getting back. So this will be fun.
Yeah, and we'll repurpose the Bill Day's save of the week to that one save I made that week.
Yes. Yeah, that one save at pickup hockey that Bill made.
Yeah, because that's all I'm gonna make. I'm sure,
Yeah,
at least for the first 7 or 8 weeks. So,
well, good news. I did just get a new GoPro for my birthday, so we will be putting that to good use.
Yeah, so I will be picking up the final pieces of the gear later this week. Well, I will be placing the order for them later this week. So,
do you have skates?
I do. First thing I bought 2 years ago.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot about that. Have you been on them at all yet?
Now they have dry rot.
They might. They may have to get sharpened after never seeing the ice. So.
Gotta grind the rust off.
Yeah, no, they've never seen water, ice, anything. So
have they been sharpened at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first bought them.
Right.
So, but yeah,
well,
they are.
I'm glad they're sharpened and ready for you.
Do you bake those or no?
I probably will wind up getting them baked after 1 or 2 sessions.
Oh, look at this. Chris Bray. We need goalies for our Madco 30 and over Friday night league at East Alton. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your goal, to play and get yourself ready enough to where you feel comfortable getting into one of those games.
Yeah. Chris and I actually occasionally will bump into one another at Target late on a Sunday evening, and he's brought that up before. So that actually is one that would probably fit my schedule. So I will let you know. Let you know how it goes.
Yeah, Chris is a good guy. He's a regular sports encyclopedia. That guy. He knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff.
But did he not lose in Blues trivia when we had him on?
He did. He did. He lost to Jimmy, right? Didn't Jimmy win?
Jimmy.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
we got to do another one of those. That was fun. We should do one of those this summer.
That was fun.
Do a Blues trivia show. Have guests come on, and yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be one of the summer shows. We got plenty of prizes. I've got prizes all over here that I've been waiting to give away. So we'll do one. All right. So official beers of episode number 460. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Kurt is at CPrice12. You can follow me at JPonder94. Bill is at Billy Blue Note 33. Let's just keep it rolling. Bill, lead us off.
All right. So I have a very fancy labeled beer tonight. 3 Floyd's Wig Splitter Coffee Stout. It's a oatmeal coffee stout. I'm not a big Three Floyds guy, but I keep an open mind, and this one's actually pretty good. So already halfway through it. So nice, good coffee stout. My backup beer is probably going to be my go-to summer beer. Don't know if you guys have seen it yet or had it. The Creekside or Lakeside Cherry by Leinenkugel. It's
nice.
Lakeside Cherry.
yes,
I've had that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's I was wandering around Total Wine last night, found it, and had one earlier. Whew, real good.
Very good. Very summery.
Yes.
It'll be perfect after mowing the lawn.
Yes. Good shower beer.
Oh, hell yes. Hell yeah. I love the lighter beers for shower beers.
Oh, yeah.
They're all good.
Tried a shower beer one time. Not my thing.
No?
Nah.
I think it's associated with being a Hooge. So that is one thing that I will gladly say I am a Hoosier about.
And I'm pretty sure if it's not Busch Light, you're being too fancy.
Nah, just got to be a lighter beer.
I don't know. I think that'd be a good poll. You know, what not what beer do you use in the shower, but what is the prototypical?
Prototypical.
Shower
You're
beer.
probably right. It probably would be Busch.
I don't know. I mean, Busch beer is a Hoosiery beer, so that's why I said that. So
yep. All right. What Hoosiery beer are you rocking tonight, Kurt?
Not Hoosiery. It's the beer actually that I had, I believe, the show after the Blues won the Cup, and I think I used the tie-in that I own this beer, like the Blues own Boston, Samuel Adams cherry wheat.
Nice.
So I was gonna break out the old Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill laser engraved mug.
Remember that place?
Yeah, a shitty mug for a shitty game.
We're sorry for all of you who won that as trivia prize.
Nobody won one. Nobody beat you. They had to flat out. They couldn't tie you like with Randy Carricker. Nobody ever. People would tie you, but they had to beat you, and no one beat you.
So you never got beat. Actually, I think the only one that I beat you one time, but I wasn't eligible to win it.
Right? Yeah,
I wasn't eligible.
Yeah.
Let me retract my apology and offer you're welcome to all of you who didn't have to have one of those shitty things.
Yeah, I found it the other day. I'm like, I should have this on the show, and then just throw it away when it's over.
Yep, definitely throw it in the dumpster.
That's where it belongs.
My beer is the Public House Revelation Dry Stout. Very good dark beer. I can't remember if this is what I had on the show last week.
I think you had a Public House. I assume that's
okay.
The same one.
Yeah, it might have been the same one. But yeah, very, very good dark beer. Not a sipping beer. I know I get those a lot on the show, but
this dark beer that's not a sipping beer.
I'm sorry. Is a sipping beer.
Oh, okay.
Not a drink quick beer.
I'm like, how does that work? I'm like,
definitely a sipping beer.
You may have a problem.
I figured I needed. Yeah, I figured I needed something. I needed something a little stronger to watch this game. So I'm
chugging dark beers.
When Bourbon County becomes your chug beer, you got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. Well, let's get into some Blues talk very quickly here. There's been a couple signings. Apparently, the Blues are in love with Sweden. That is kind of the headline with all of this.
This is going to be the way Red Wings rated Russian players.
Yes.
In the early 90s.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen.
The Blues signed Marcus Silvegaard and Samuel Johansson. I believe that's how you say their names. Johansson. Johannesson. I think it's Johannesson. From the SHL, which
are
is
you sure you're putting
the
league? Right emphasis on the right syllable there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Johannesson. I believe that is correct. But if you're Swedish and you're listening right now, please correct me. So the forward in Marcus Silvegaard, he signed a 1-year entry-level contract. These were not Blues draft picks, by the way, for those of you who may have just assumed that's what this was. Silvegaard just in 51 regular season games for Vaksho in the Swedish Hockey League last season, leading the team with 41 points. The 24-year-old forward also collected 23 goals, which ranked second in the SHL overall. He was never drafted into the NHL. Rumors suggested he was actually being pursued by multiple NHL teams, including Florida, Colorado, Calgary, and Dallas. And the reason that, I guess the big selling point for Armstrong was you've got a path to the NHL here. Like, you will be probably getting a great look into joining the Blues next season, as opposed to being hidden in the AHL with some of those other teams. And then real quick, we'll mention defenseman Samuel Johannesson. He signed a 2-year entry-level deal. He dressed in 43 regular season games for Orebro in the SHL last season, leading the defense and ranking second on the team with 11 goals and 27 points overall. He was originally drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the 6th round, 176th overall of the 2020 NHL draft. So these are literally guys that really were not getting looks. Kind of getting looks in the NHL, I guess. You know, there's always scouts looking scouts. But these are two guys that the Blues, I think, are looking to possibly break in next season. And you have to assume, and I know, Kurt, you kind of mentioned it before the show started, Alexander Steen is earning his paycheck right now, scouting out Swedish players, because these are, you look at some of at these names and just, you know, anything you've seen about these players, these are Alexander Steen type players.
Right. And he is, you know, assistant to Doug Armstrong, based in Sweden. So this seems to have his fingerprints all over it. I love it. Different approach than the Blues have taken.
So do you remember the last time the Blues did something like this and went to the SHL and they literally were like, we're going to try this guy out? Do you remember who that was?
Christopher Olsen?
Joakim Lindstrom. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thought, was that the Blues were trying to find this, like, a good, cheap middle six guy. He was okay. I don't think he was awful. But just didn't really, to me at least, didn't really show that he had the hands for the NHL. He had the speed and he had a good shot, but hands weren't there. And for those of you who were kind of batting an eyelash at the, for example, the forward Silvegaard, 23 goals in a full season in 51 games last year, and you're like, oh, well, that's not that much. Second in the SHL. The SHL is a defensive league. There's only one player who was at a point per game pace in the SHL last year. So this guy is one of the top offensive stars in the SHL. Again, I don't think we're going to see a 50-goal season out of this guy, but I think the hope is middle six and maybe a good replacement for Kasperi Kapanen.
You know what's interesting is that, you know, like we said, Steen's fingerprints are all over this stuff. So it's funny how social media works, is that, you know, people are like, so he should be the next GM of the Blues. He should be the GM in waiting. Why isn't he the GM of the Blues? We should fire JR and hire Steen as the GM of the Blues. I'm like,
JR.
I mean, I'm
DA.
Army. Yeah, fire JR for not doing a good enough job as the GM of the Blues.
Former friend of the show, JR.
Yeah, right. I was supposed to be doing what? So yeah, that's just kind of funny that we don't even know how these guys are going to pan out. They look like nice finds, right? But we'll see before you go anointing him as the GM. So
yeah, I was going to say these guys could turn out to be complete crap. And, you know, I don't want to say crap. Either way, they're going to be good talent for the AHL.
Yeah.
But I really think, looking at the numbers and what I've seen from scouts on these guys, I don't know so much about Johannesson, but I think Silvegaard might have been a pretty solid pickup for the Blues. We'll see what he can do. It's worth a look, right? You know, this team is a little strapped for cash, and find a good, cheap player to come in and maybe have a great season for you.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a 1-year and a 2-year deal for these guys. Like, they don't work out, they're gone. It's not a huge lift. So the Blues also, again, staying in Sweden, they signed Simone Robertson to a 3-year, 2-way entry-level contract. He was drafted by the Blues in the 3rd round, number 71 overall in the 2021 draft. Robertson is 21, appeared in 27 regular season games for Skellefteå AIK of the Swedish Hockey League last season, collecting 4 points in 12 penalty minutes. The 6-foot, 190-pound forward also posted 2 points, 1 goal and 1 assist in 28 penalty minutes in 15 postseason games, helping Skellefteå capture the SHL championship. I did see some people a little surprised by this one because what I heard is that he's kind of fallen out of favor with the Blues and that he just does not look like he's going to be anything super special in the North American game. But again, Alexander Steen, he's got a lot of trust from Doug Armstrong. He must have saw something he liked, and we'll probably be seeing Robertson getting a very good look in training camp this year.
We'll see.
Blues. Go ahead.
No, I was say we'll see. I mean,
yep.
These are all like shots in the dark, right? So,
yep. So this one is not. This is one the Blues I've heard are very excited about. They did sign Otto Stenberg to a 3-year entry-level contract. You guessed it, another Swede. He was drafted by the Blues in the 1st round, number 25 overall. And
do you know where your children are?
It's 9:59.
I was going by what Bill said. Bill told me to play it, so I played it.
I thought for sure. So there. Now it's
10.
I was gonna say my alarm is going off.
I thought by the time you got around to it, I thought you were gonna get into the Stenberg thing.
When it's Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, I have an alarm, so I normally can do it myself.
Mine goes off at 9:59. So
well, there you go. So anyways, the Blues signed Otto Stenberg, 3-year entry-level contract. He was the Blues' 1st-round pick, number 25 overall in the 2023 NHL draft. So that was the one the Blues had a couple 1st-round picks. This was one of the guys they took. Stenberg is 18, appeared in 31 regular season games for Frölunda HC of the Swedish Hockey League last season, collecting 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, and 8 penalty minutes. Stenungsund, Sweden native. Why did I put that in there? Also posted 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists in 7 tournament games at the 2024 Under-20 World Junior Championships, leading Team Sweden to the silver medal. And again, this is a guy that I have heard the Blues are very excited about. Was a highly touted defenseman in that draft and is still considered a top prospect for an NHL team. Now, he's a defenseman. I think we won't see him for at least a couple years, but good to know that he's already signed his entry-level contract, and he'll be getting some time in the AHL next season.
Yeah, only 18. Probably more than a couple years away.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it'll take him some time. But I was just thinking we should have looked to see if Pierre Maguire was on Cameo and could have thrown him $5 to read the names of the clubs and
that is not a bad idea. If he's on there, that would be fun just to have him just say, hey, read to us all the teams in the SHL. Yeah. Go.
Skellefteå. Linköping.
Is he? I think he is. If my screen would load here. It says order a personalized video.
We got a 1-1 game in Edmonton right now, too.
Bad bounce.
Pierre Maguire is on Cameo. It's $44.
That's not bad. That might be worth it. We might have to do that. That'd be incredible. All right, so Blues all over Sweden. So that's very exciting to see some of these guys possibly get a chance. I think these are going to be names you're going to want to watch if you go to any training camp games in September. And, also some of these guys will probably be in the prospect tournament, whatever one they do this year. So we will see. But, yeah, I'm watching this goal now. That is a bad goal.
That's bad bounce.
It's a bad bounce. Yeah, bad bounce. That's what I meant.
I almost wonder if Desharnais doesn't dive and hit the puck, if Skinner could have got that. It looked like he was tracking it pretty well.
Maybe.
Stupid defenseman.
Stupid defense. It's never the goalie's fault. It's always
if he
the
gets it,
defenseman's
it's with
fault.
his stick, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
he wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd been a great save.
All right, guys.
Look at what Ottinger did against Thomas in the last game of the year.
Yeah.
Just stuck his stick out there and hope for the best. That's literally all he did.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't even. He gave up on it. He just kind of
Yeah,
flailed
exactly.
with his stick.
Yep.
Which is what goalies do in warm-ups. When they
Yeah, right.
flail their stick at the puck. I don't want to save your shot. But
Nope.
And few things piss off a shooter during warm-ups. And come on, try to make the save. Come on.
I had a goalie, Bill. You'll love this. On Sunday, never takes warm-ups. And he just, I don't know, he doesn't like it. He says guys shoot at his head too much like idiots, which they do. And yeah, he's like, you know what? I'll jump out there for warm-ups. Very first shot, former goaltender comes in, nails him right between the eyes. And he's like, you're a former goalie. What the hell, man? And he's like, I'm sorry, it got away from me. And to be fair, sometimes as a shooter, Kurt, it does just kind of get away from you. So it was just an unfortunate, dude, I'm telling you, I did not mean to do that, but it just got away from me. And of course, it's the one guy who refuses to take warm-ups usually.
Yeah, I've had pucks get away from me.
Yep,
Warm-ups.
it happens.
Where's our friend Chris? He never found a goalie he couldn't hit in the head to warm up.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, a slap shot. Yeah, right by the ear.
Yep.
Hey, we're trying to warm up our shot too.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's enough of the current Blues talk. Let's take a quick commercial break. And on the other side of this break, we will be talking about Blues, Red Wings, Game 7, 1996, Western Conference semifinal. I cannot wait to find out what happens in this game. I'm kidding. All right.
Kill me now.
Other side of this break. Hey, it's still an exciting game and goes 2 overtimes, folks.
I'm just
spoiler
excited to see the
I'm calling it. Yeah, I'm calling it right now. John Casey with the save of the week.
Yes. Yes. All right. Other side of this break. We'll be back with that. You are listening to Jeff, Kurt, and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
So as we come back to break, or from break, I would like to go ahead and call out that you probably noticed in the open and there in the commercial that we no longer have Rockin' That ID Life sponsoring us, our friend Dustin Paul. Dustin has decided to take the summer off from sponsorship because we had a huge falling out. I'm just kidding. No, we did not. Dustin's still a good friend of mine. He just wanted to take the summer off. And I think that just wanted to call out one more time. Check out Rockin' That ID Life. They've been an excellent sponsor of ours. Tell them Let's Go Blues. Well, tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you, and he will still send you that 10% off. And just wanted to say one more time, thank you to Dustin for being such a longtime sponsor of the show. I know he still listens to the show. Hopefully we'll have you back in October. Yeah, just wanted to let everybody know that 10% off coupon, if you email Dustin at rockin'thatidlife.com, that is still valid. Just let him know that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. So thank you to Dustin, and thank you to Mike Burgoyne for continuing on as a sponsor of our program. That was also me kind of vamping because my video is loading. So give me just 1 second. All right, here we go. Hang on. Here
we go.
Nope, don't do it for me.
And away we.
Why is that not showing?
So where were you guys when this game happened? Where did you watch this game? Surely you knew where you were.
Yeah, I watched it with a group of friends. I'd been to, I think, game 4 of the series and a couple of games in the Toronto series, so I was all in big time. Oh, start of game. But I watched it with a bunch of friends in O'Fallon.
Put us on the side there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
There we go. I got it.
All right, you do that. I need to mess with the sound. Just give me a sec. Do you guys hear it?
Nope.
Oh, no. All right, hang on. How did we do this last time?
Did we do the YouTube? On YouTube?
We don't want that. No, we can't do that because.
Do you hear? Is it sound? Do you have sound for you?
Yes, I have sound.
Why isn't it playing then? It should be playing.
I don't know. All right, hang on. Let's. Sorry, folks. Technological differences here. We are going to figure this out. Okay. Oh, hey guys, you can look at me for a second.
Hello, buddy.
Where did you watch it, Kurt?
I was actually working at the Elks Lodge in Belleville, Illinois, and so I was running back and forth from the dining room as a waiter, from the dining room to the coat room where they had the game on in the coat room. In the lounge, they had some kind of a lounge act going where the TV wasn't on, which kind of ticked me off. But the coat room lady had it on in the coat room, so I'd be going back there and spending a lot of time in the coat room watching the game from there. And I ran home. I was off work when overtime happened, and I watched the first overtime at the Elks Lodge, and then I went home for the second. First and second.
What is going on?
So it was your fault.
They hadn't scored when I was watching it at the game or at work. So
okay, sorry. This is being very silly. Okay, I think I might have it. Here we go.
Start of game. No audio.
Do you hear it?
Nope.
Do not hear it.
Can you hear it?
No.
No. Can you hear us?
No. It looks pretty low. Turn it up.
Well, I just turned it down.
Oh, yeah, I can't hear it.
Yeah.
That is way too loud. All right, hang on. For me, at least, because I can't hear you. All right. Sorry, everyone. we will get this figured out. I promise. Okay.
It's on. I mean, I know you've got it cut up, but it's on YouTube too.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I think we can do this.
How long is the game? The edited version you had?
An hour, 20 minutes. Okay.
How long is the one on YouTube?
Oh, like 2.5 hours at least.
Let's see. It is 2 hours and 9 minutes. Actually, this one is 2 hours and 24.
I might be able to do this. Sorry, everyone. I swear we are figuring this out.
Producer Austin will be facing more allegations next week.
We should have tested this before. I wasn't thinking. but here.
Well, it's the same. It should be the same setup as before.
Oh, hang on. Let's get that looking right.
A winner and a loser will be decided.
There we go.
One goes on to play in the conference final, and one goes home. As simple as that. Constantine on.
There we go.
Born.
Yeah, there we go. That's
All
good
right,
volume.
we got it.
All right. What'd you do? What
Does
happened?
that sound good?
Yeah, I think so.
I basically had to share. I have to share the local file, not like screen share of any kind.
Oh,
That makes sense.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
All right, so we're good.
Bill McCreary reffing this game.
Corson.
Corson. Number 9 gave up his C for Gretzky when Gretzky came over.
So a couple notes I wanted to call out as we go into this game. There's Mike Keenan, our favorite GM and coach. So going into this game, Detroit had outscored the Blues 21-16 in the 6 games leading up to this point. Leading scorers in the series heading into this game, Steve Yzerman. 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 6 games. And then it was Brett Hall with 3 goals and 4 assists and 7 points. Wayne Gretzky, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. And Nicholas Lidstrom, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Goalies in games 1 through 6. Chris Osgood, 900 save percentage, 221 GAA. John Casey, 885 save percentage, 348 GAA. Osgood and Casey also each had 1 shutout in the series at this point.
So coming into this game, so the first 2 games, Blues, Detroit, the Red Wings won the first game 3-2. Second game was a blowout. Red Wings won 8-3. So Detroit's up 2-0. After Detroit went up 2-0, the Blues won the next 3, 5-4, 1-0, and 3-2, and then Detroit wins game 6, 4-2. But so after the first 2 games, when the Blues were outscored 11-5, the Blues outscored Detroit by coming into this game. They'd outscored them by 1. So they had figured things out, and rumor has it the Blues kind of figured out how to shut down Detroit's top. Well, I mean, Yzerman was doing quite well, but they were doing a pretty good job on the Russian players in this game and this series.
Yeah, so
that's how the Blues came back in the series. They kind of shut down.
Other Russians, Kozlov had only had 1 goal at this point. Konstantinov, 2 goals. Larionov, 1. Fedorov, 1. So, yeah, I mean, they're still there, but it's not. This is the Steve Yzerman show in the series.
I mean, it's funny because you see these fantastic saves and goal-mouth scrambles, and this game goes. It's scoreless going in overtime, so you know that nothing's going on. Oh my gosh!
What a save by John! There's your save of the week right there.
Oh my God, that's Hasek like. That is Hasek.
Yep, and
oh,
I think if that goes in today's game, goaltender interference because the stick that prevented him from getting over properly, but he improvised as a great goalie will do.
Yeah, he was on his back and kind of rolled over and just threw his arm.
Oh, there's the Yofa helmet.
Yeah.
Larionov with the Yofa.
2 of those in this game with Gretzky.
Broomball helmet. Those things are illegal now.
Yep.
God, Nicholas Lidstrom, the perfect human.
Yeah. Tavish was in this team, right? For the last player to play without a helmet.
Yeah, Greg McTavish, he is in this game. So we saw Yuri Himlev on the bench.
Ooh,
have I told my Yuri Himlev story on the show before?
You have so many Himlev stories.
Right.
Yes.
Which one,
right? Yeah, which one? I think it was after this season. I liked Yuri Himlev, and so I wrote the
Why
Blues
did you
game.
like Yuri Himlev?
I just thought he fit in well in the middle 6 role. And So I messaged the Blues because I noticed it was the next season he wasn't on the team, and this is before you could just look things up on the internet.
I have heard this. Yeah.
So I wrote a handwritten letter to the St. Louis Blues, and I asked what happened to Yuri Himlev. And Renee St. John, who is a name that a lot of Blues fans back in that era knows. She was like PR person. She also was a ticket rep, and she was all over the organization. She responded and basically said, well, the Blues bought out Himlev's contract. This basically means, because, I was a kid, this basically means the Blues are paying him to no longer play for us.
Wait, when was it?
I love the way she worded that.
When was this?
90. It would have been 96.
Okay, so it was probably after. I was looking at his stats. He did play 2 games for us in the 96-97 season. So it was
okay. So maybe it was after that year.
Well, or it could have been like November of 96.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules were back then. Maybe they could buy him out at any time.
Yeah, good question. Good point. Either way,
Jay Wells would have got ejected for a legal check to the head.
Yep.
But this is just a check in this game.
Himlev, I don't know. Was it? You think so?
Think what?
That
head?
Check to the head?
Oh, it would have at least elicited a scrum because it would have been perceived dirty.
Himlev only
There's
played
the helmet
9 games
for
for us.
McTavish.
7 games in 95-96 and 2 in 96-97. I would have guessed more.
I would have too. Is that regular season? That doesn't count playoffs?
Oh, yeah, that's regular season. Playoffs.
Ooh.
Playoffs, he played 6 games for us.
Leach just knocked the shit out of Courtnall.
I love Courtnall. I understand why people on the teams absolutely hated him.
Yeah.
That was his job.
Especially Kings fans.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've done that game, right? Have we done that game?
No, but we should.
Oh, we
Right,
should.
That's a good one.
You should do that one with Eddie Garcia.
Yeah,
Have
well,
him join us.
That's funny because I brought that game up to remember when San Jose scored those 4 goals in that power play against Vegas?
Yeah.
In 2019.
Yeah.
And people online went, this has never happened before. I'm like, yes, it has. Yes, it has. In the playoffs of losing Kings.
That was the Pavelski hit in 19.
Yeah, that was blood pouring, like dripping out of the helmet. That was nasty looking. And shouldn't have been a power play, actually. San Jose was kind of gifted that.
Yep.
Fedorov just took a hit from Murray Barron after he dumped that puck off. Barron went up and got him and decked him. Cleared back. Fedorov.
God, so much hitting. You couldn't take an
So
inch
much-
of the ice without getting hit.
So much hooking and grabbing and holding.
Yeah.
Just you're getting, mauled. And
Chris Bray with a great call out here. 15 NHL Hall of Famers in this game.
yeah,
15.
It's funny because the Blues roster looks stacked. But they were 2 games under 500 coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They weren't a great. I mean, they were a pretty good playoff team. As they
They had
showed.
the size, they had the grit, and they had the
but
scoring.
They just
That's all you
didn't,
needed.
They didn't have a great regular season at all. Granted, they were mixing them. They were changing the lineup around, mixing and matching players.
Part of the.
Tikkanen is
obviously,
gone. Tikkanen was dealt before this game.
Obviously, you have a chance to get the greatest player of all time on your roster. You do it, but I mean,
For
that's part of the reason why
absolutely nothing.
Part of the reason why the Blues went and got him was because they were looking for center depth. They needed somebody.
So they get the best center ever.
Yes.
I mean, it's still at the time. I was like, when the trade happened to get Gretzky, I was like, what am I missing here? I must not be up on some of these players. I didn't realize that some of these guys are this good to be dealt for Gretzky.
Roman Bopat? Didn't you have a Patrice Tardif jersey?
No, I think
Ryan
Kurt
Johnson.
had to get his Patrice Tardif tattoo removed a couple years ago. Yeah, his job didn't like it right there on his wrist.
Well, it was a neck tattoo.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, don't get a neck tattoo if you wear polos to work.
Mike Schloman over on X says those uniforms, and he has the face palm emoji.
Yeah,
Agree with you, sir, 100%.
We're with you. Although the kids nowadays, the retro ugly is like hip. So
Yeah.
I will say, for nostalgia's reasons, I am enjoying seeing these right now.
Oh, I like seeing the names
because of now, like looking back at this team. But in terms of the Blues, were like tomorrow, we're gonna go back to the Reds. I'd be like, I will be listening on the radio.
Yeah, and Chris Spray pointed out that Detroit 62 wins coming into the playoffs. They set the now. Boston did beat that last season. Did they not?
Yes,
It was.
they also. That's also with shootouts.
True.
So I was at Game 3. I was at the game where Kravchuk scored the overtime winner. They're going through the how we got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, another good point from Chris Bray. This game was on KPLR2 with Ken Wilson on the call, friend of the show, Ken Wilson, and that is the feed that I watched, but this is the one I found.
I'm assuming. Oh, you
So
know what?
I've never heard this call before, actually.
You've never heard this call? I've never heard Ken Wilson's. You've never heard Gretzky had it, lost it before?
Oh, no. I've heard I'm saying the full game call.
Oh, okay.
Because the only time I've seen this game was live. So I never went back and rewatched this game.
I've never watched the entire thing. I've seen highlights. Actually, that's not true. Last week when we discussed possibly doing this game, I pulled it up on YouTube and I kind of had it on the background just to have it on.
Game 7, these teams in their.
I was looking for when
anyone
Corson hits
live,
the post at crossbar.
Anyone listening live, let us know if this audio works for you. You can still hear us, and the game audio itself isn't, you can still hear it. Let us know. I think it sounds great.
It
personally.
sounds good to me.
I think both of you gentlemen sound fantastic. That's all that matters.
I miss.
I know I sound great.
Mike Schloman, so I miss playoff hockey. Yeah, and 2 years in a row with no playoffs. That's kind of a rarity for Blues fans. They don't happen too often.
This was the series for me that Chris Pronger became Chris Pronger.
Yeah.
Like this was when I started seeing him and being like, okay, I see why Keenan traded one of the greatest Blues of all time for this guy.
Yeah, it's at one point towards the end of the season after they got Gretzky, you saw Gretzky go to Pronger and say, I'm cutting, just hoist it over everybody, and it was a perfect pass. And you're like, this kid's actually got some talent.
Can you imagine? And again, I know, it's so easy to say like, oh, what if? But if the Blues would have kept Gretzky for another year, 2 years, when Pronger really started becoming Chris Pronger,
right?
The types of passes Gretzky would have gotten from McInnes and Pronger constantly. I mean, he wouldn't have been putting up 100 points because he wasn't at this point, but he still would have been putting up a great amount of points because he had two guys that could get him the puck from anywhere on the ice.
Right. And
here's the thing, though.
Gretzky on a Quenneville coach team too, right? Keenan's gone after this.
Here's the thing, though, too, is that since Gretzky left, who did we get as our number one center next season?
Pierre Turgeon.
So if we keep Gretzky, we don't get Turgeon.
And Turgeon had a hell of a year.
And he had a hell of a career with us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that Turgeon was the better guy to have at this point in Gretzky's career.
But I'm saying in terms of Gretzky, I think his career his numbers would have been more impressive if he would have stayed in St. Louis with Pronger and McInnes and Quenneville. But yeah, I agree with you. I think at the point in his career, Turgeon was probably the better pickup.
Yeah, I think that was, I think a lot of people are, we missed out on not having, we screwed up and Gretzky left, Keenan pissed him off and he didn't want to come back. But it's like, with Steve Gretzky, there's no Turgeon, and we might not have that fantastic moment where we beat the Coyotes right in overtime in Game 7. So I mean, who knows what happens in that series? A lot of what ifs.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite moments as a Blues fan. Is Turgeon goal against the Coyotes.
And who did Ken Wilson think scored it?
Person!
Person. Yeah. It may have been deflected. You think?
Charlie Huddy.
That was just
Another great name.
Another Jofa helmet, right? Huddy?
What's up?
Another Jofa helmet? Charlie Huddy?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep. You have the Jofa helmets. You got the Shanahan's raggedy old thin pads, shoulder pads.
That might be one of those crazy ass jerseys I get when I'm an old man and I'm just collecting jerseys
Charlie
at that
Huddy.
point. No, a Yuri Himlev Blues jersey. I mean, why not? I got a Jamie Rivers jersey.
Well, at least Rivers had a decent cup of coffee here with the Blues.
Mike Schloman might be our comment of the show. I didn't realize what game this was at first. Do you enjoy pain? What is wrong with you guys?
There's only one game with Detroit and the Blues wearing these jerseys that is worth. I wouldn't say worth watching.
If we could get another game from this series, the Blues actually won, because this was a hell of a series.
It was a great series. Oh my God! So when Detroit was up 2-0 in this series, people were writing off the Blues, obviously. But then the Blues rattled off 3 straight, and the entire St. Louis area was going bananas because the Red Wings were so good. Like Chris Brace pointed out, they had set the record for most wins during regular season this season, and they were supposed to walk over the Blues. And we were up 3-2, had won 3 straight. There were the marquees in front of gas stations. Let's go Blues! Everywhere you look, let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! It was fantastic.
Did you see what McInnes just said when he got in the box?
No.
He said he pointed at the logo on his chest because he's got a penalty. He pointed at the logo on his chest and said, "It's because of this."
Oh.
Basically saying, if I was a Red Wing, you wouldn't have called that. Damn. Nice, Al.
Yeah, and
we were all thinking the same thing at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never heard the Ken Wilson call for this game. Now, I may have heard it live. I don't remember what it was when I listened to it live.
Yzerman ends it.
I assume it was
I
Channel
remember
11.
him saying that.
Because ESPN would have been blocked out in St. Louis area.
I don't know. At the time, was it?
If it was on KPLR? It wouldn't have been on both. I wouldn't imagine.
No, shit, they still black games out today.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm just wondering if back then if they did. But you're probably right. I'm
it
sure
was a
they
hell of a lot worse back then.
Yeah. Okay.
And Chris Brace says Game 5 was on Fox.
Great
Oh,
game.
with the skating robots. Probably.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was one of the games I was looking up to which we should do tonight. And one of the games I pulled up very first thing was the skating robots, Blues and Red Wings robots. And I'm like, oh God, I missed that. It was so corny.
That should have been the teaser image on YouTube. Those 2 robots.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Maybe that'll be our Instagram photo for tomorrow.
So the standings wise, the Blues finished 4th in the Central, 80 points, and Detroit had 131. The Blues were 51 points. 51 points behind.
Literal.
Red Wings.
Dave.
Literally kicked the puck out of the crease. That was beautiful.
Ooh, not
nice
taught
hit.
this day and age.
Keith Primo.
He's a rookie.
Yep.
Did a 360 on that one, and it comes to center. Fetisov drops it. Coffey's got to give chase. 24 left in this power play.
Last time Coffey went back, Yuri Himlev just buried him with a hit.
Wayne Gretzky in the short-handed unit chases it down, sends it right back into the zone.
Love how when Gretzky gets the puck, it's close-up time. Like, we don't give a shit what else is going on. Wayne Gretzky has the puck.
You know what I miss? I miss actually seeing what's on the visitors' boards for ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand completely the money involved with having local ads always on the boards for certain camera angles. That was a great save.
What a save.
But it was cool
John
just
Casey.
seeing the different advertisements on the visiting the other arenas.
Bill, underrated mask, right? John Casey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay, let's talk about
I
that.
love that mask.
I hated this mask.
Really?
It looked like a Six Flags airbrushed mask.
I thought it was cool looking.
Yeah, it looked like it was done in 5 minutes.
For the era, and it probably was fair, but for the era, it was,
You know what though?
It was more colorful than most of the masks.
It was. I at the time I thought this mask was like it looked. I don't know. It didn't look very good compared to like others.
How about that? We have 2 Six Flags references already on the show. When was the last time we referenced Six Flags?
It's been a while for me. Scoring chances: Red Wings 8, Blues 1, with 10 minutes
20 remaining in the first.
Yeah. There were stretches in this game where Red Wings dominated. I'd like to see the deserved to win meter for this game. They should go back and do old games.
They should. That would be awesome. Chris Bray, Osgood had a stupid Cooper helmet.
Yeah, I actually like. Look at him in the minority. I liked that style better than what Casey has. That's the style that Cujo had when he first came up with the Blues.
Yeah, the mask cage combo.
Yep.
Same for Guy Bear.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not like Hasek's or
I think we're getting,
Kelly Rudy's. Didn't like that mask.
Yeah.
I think we're getting ready to move ahead here. I could be wrong, but I think I remember this is where I made a cut. We'll see. Yep. 6:10. We are now moving to about 6:10 remaining in the first period. It is still 0-0.
Yeah, you forget Peter Zezel was on this team.
Very good soccer piece.
Yeah. And Rosini, you have his jersey.
I have his jersey from the Youngblood, right? Yeah, Zezel's footwork was always credited. He credited his soccer playing days to help with his footwork on the boards, like
and face-off,
handling the puck on the boards with his skates and on face-offs, right?
There's a guy that I hated growing up, Chris Draper.
Oh,
yeah.
I hated him.
Him, Draper, and
McCarty,
yeah, not McCarty. Well, McCarty, yeah, but it was Draper and
Maltby.
Maltby, yes,
Yeah.
Maltby, because he wore the half shield, and he was just a complete dick and wore that half shield.
Yeah. There were a lot of guys to hate on this Red Wings team. And
Oh yeah, and they think
Maltby, Maltby was Maltby on this team, or did he come the following year? But Marty LaPointe.
So Maltby was on this team, but he only played in 2 games of this series. I don't think he's playing in this one.
Okay.
He must have been a call-up because he didn't play at all during the regular season.
Woo!
For the Red Wings.
Just
Great
one of
save.
those weird 90s plays we just saw right there.
Yeah.
Fedorov skates it in. I mean, just lightning speed. And the puck just sits in the crease, and Casey just has to react like, oh, the puck's right at my feet. I should probably just jump. Yeah, Brett Hall's back playing defense, which we all know is not a good thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was close.
I'm surprised Casey didn't just drop down. He took him forever to drop down.
No.
Yeah, you know his players are yelling at him like, Feet.
Yeah, he's totally different era, right?
Yeah.
He was the one of the last breed of 80s stand-up goalies.
Yeah, Maltby. I'm looking at Maltby's numbers. He really didn't.
I think the Oilers have tied the live game. Looks like Riddick's glove crosses the line. I thought it was a great save, but looks like it's in.
Let's see, Oilers at this point.
Well, that's in for sure. Yeah,
they gave it to him.
Yeah, it's in.
With Brian Marchment, did he score? Or Dano Sigger? I'm trying to think of players that were probably playing for them at this point in '96. Oh, what a play!
Maltby came over from
man.
Doug Waite was an Oiler at that time.
Yeah, he would have been an Oiler at this point. Yep.
Glenn Anderson had a great chance, I think, in overtime in this game. And right after they had talked about how he was Mr. Game 7.
Yeah, problem was he wasn't sporting the mustache.
Nope. That was where his power was.
Well, Maltby, from his discussion earlier about Maltby, he had come over from Edmonton this season. Played 49 games in Edmonton, I guess 6 for Detroit during the regular season. So, and then played limited time in the playoffs.
You know what's funny with watching this game, Bill, is that like I see the goalies come out and play the puck, and I'm looking for the line for the trapezoid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you step on the trapezoid? I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's not a thing.
Yeah, there are so many differences, right?
There's a 2-line pass here.
Yeah, two-line pass. We've got the single referee, touch-up icing.
Yeah, you forget about the 2-line offside pass.
Yeah, that's the one. When they whistle that, I'm like, offside? What? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, can't be cherry picking down to the blue line.
That was the worst rule in hockey.
Yeah, it was bad.
I know, I'm so glad
when they got rid of that opened up the game a little more. And then they moved the goal out from the boards. Remember that? They created more space behind the goal, which actually took away from scoring.
Yep.
So they moved it back.
Yeah, it's the Olympics, right? The Olympics have more space behind the net. So they thought, well, there's a lot of goal scoring in the Olympics. So
the ice surface is
like,
just
yeah,
bigger.
but you're taking away from the offensive zone.
Is that still the case?
In front of the net.
I don't think it's still the case anymore, is it? Where the Olympic ice surface is bigger? It's because they've played on NHL rinks since.
I thought it was.
I mean, they have played on NHL rinks before, right? When the Olympics have been in the U.S. I mean, more recently than like 1980. Haven't they? Salt Lake City? Did they not? I guess they didn't.
No, I think it was still Olympic size, like the
not even
the rink in Champaign.
Didn't they play in Vancouver? They didn't play us in the.
Yeah, that might have been it. Like 20. That was what 2012.
Maybe. Yeah. I thought somewhere in North America they played the Olympics.
Salt Lake City was 2002, so that was
Olympic ice.
That was only 5 years after this, 6 years after this game.
Olympic ice is apparently about sorry.
Shoot the puck. Just shoot the puck.
It's about 13 feet wider, but in terms of length, it's the same size.
Yeah, it's significantly bigger.
Yeah.
Remember back in the days in the NHL when all the rinks were different sizes?
Yeah.
Yep, that was ridiculous.
Boston and Chicago
were small. The corners were like they weren't as deep, so you come out of the corner and you're almost in the slot.
Yeah.
Now they're uniforms, mostly, I think.
So, fun fact, I believe. Let me check before I say this out loud. So there's one more penalty in this game at this point. So we're through the first period almost, and there's only one more penalty in this game, which when you watch by today's standards, it's like, what?
I know. They didn't call it. This was back in the era when they would just put the whistle away. And you could do, I mean, there had to be like a high sticking penalty. Any kind of hook, hold, slash, they weren't calling them. You had to high stick somebody to get a penalty. And the Red Wings actually get one more power play than the Blues in this game. So what's butt ice? Chris Bray, what's butt ice? Doobie-doo, the Penguin, right?
Yep.
Standing up on it, Yzerman. The Blues staying back. Red Wings can't find a passing lane here. On top, Coffey shot deflected wide. Chipped back into the corner by Pronger away from Cicerelli. Coffey trying to hold it in, does. Big play.
I mean, if you
Coffey trips over Yzerman.
what's funny about this series is that it's painful to Blues fans, this game. But honestly, 51-point difference between the two teams during the regular season. Getting to 7, pushing this series to 7 games, double overtime in 7 games, has to feel like it should feel like a win, but it obviously doesn't.
Like you said, it haunts you until the Blues win the cup.
I know. Yeah, they're just all over the Blues.
Yeah, this power play is ridiculous. I mean
it's Fedorov,
Yzerman, Lidstrom, what, Kozlov? Is he the other forward out there?
Coffee is out there.
Coffee. Jesus.
And we got Kravchuk killing him.
You literally are talking about every player on the ice for Detroit except the goalie is a future Hall of Famer. It's ridiculous.
Mariano's number is not retired, and I guess not, because he's 13.
Oh,
wow!
That stand-up goalie.
You said, yeah.
That's cruel. The stand-up goalie when he made a save on Konstantinov. That's not right, Jeff.
God. Oh, what was that? Just jumped on the Rebels' back.
That's dirty.
Steve Leach.
Leach jumped on someone's back.
No,
that was funny.
It took you way too long to get that.
It took me a minute. I was like, what?
1.1 second to go in the first period.
Dick.
And the Red Wings, I'm sure, are saying what I'm thinking. This ain't supposed to be happening. The St. Louis Blues are going to get out of this period the way they've gotten out of so many periods in this series, hanging by the skin of their teeth to a scoreless game.
Woo, man.
I was able to regroup now between periods. There's Konstantinov's sharp angle shot.
Oh my God!
A goaltender at times has to be your best penalty killer.
Look at that! Oh,
yeah, look right there. He's like his stick is like in poke check position.
Right at the
like,
end,
there he went down.
Really helping himself. He's really
That's
active with his stick.
And I love this. Oh, man, this was the era of like just knockdown, drag out wars in front of the net.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those were the days, man. I miss those.
I know.
Those are my
Keith
part
Kachuk
of my
and Adam
part
Foote.
of hockey.
Man.
Yeah.
Pronger and anybody. Darian Hatcher and anybody.
Pronger and Holmstrom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Patrick Waugh and Dino Cicerelli's nuts.
All right, we are moving ahead in the game to about 15:50 remaining in the second period.
I used to love, as a forward, I used to love going to that and just battling with defensemen. It was fun.
Yep.
It was great. Didn't so much like getting hacked by the goalie sticks, though.
That's still one of my favorite parts of playing hockey, is when there's a guy that is just like, I'm going to stand in front of your goal. And it's like, all right, I'm going to fucking hack you the back of the legs when the referee's not looking.
Oh, that was...
All right, Chris Bray. Brian Noonan!
I'm betting that Brian Noonan didn't have in a fresh piece of bubble gum on that shift.
No, he did not.
You know, I mean, if we hadn't won the cup, this game would be, we wouldn't be watching this game.
No,
and
absolutely not.
And it's interesting. I just enjoy seeing the players. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, and watching Casey play goal and just seeing the names on the backs of these jerseys and guys you haven't seen play in forever.
Just, every time we do one of these, I just marvel at how much the game has changed.
Yep. Trip. That's a penalty. Total trip. No call. I mean, Courtnall was hauled down. Another penalty. Interference in front of the net.
Yep.
No call. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's
the call.
That was a penalty.
What'd they get him with? Interference. Hey, I got one.
The last chance, but an interference call will put Scotty Bowman's team short-handed.
Good call. Good call.
Mike Ramsey goes.
That heartbeat that the
Look how low
Blues
that
found
glass is.
real hard to find
Yeah.
in the first period.
The
It was
penalty
just
box
a
glass
mere
is like
trace
2
of a
feet high.
pulse. Is now just beating like crazy. Chris Osgood, the dump up the boards. Anybody ever see one like that before?
Right there.
Chris
Interference.
Osgood's
Yep.
done
Be a
that
dive,
before,
but,
and
you
it
know.
has actually cost
I think it
them
was a dive,
the
actually.
back couple of years to a game 7,
Courtnall.
1994.
Sharks and Red Wings, Game 7. I remember that.
Yep. Osgood comes out.
Jamie Baker caught Chris Osgood out of the net after that dump and ended it. And
I think Osgood,
San Jose Sharks, Bob
throughout his
Berry,
entire
Bob
career as a
Berry,
Red Wings goalie, I don't think he ever got the credit he deserved. Even though,
Ramsey on the
he was
interference.
always like, they won in spite of Chris
Second one of the
Osgood.
game.
Even Red
St.
Wings
Louis
fans.
Blues, they had one shot
I
on their
personally,
first opportunity.
I didn't hate him as a Blues goalie.
No, I didn't either. I liked him. I mean, even though, remember the Let'sGoBlues.com
Yes.
forums?
Yes.
The day we got him, they were pissed. I didn't.
That's what I hope you still have that screenshot somewhere of the forum.
I'd probably do somewhere.
God, how many posts that went up instantly?
No.
Osgood, no.
Yeah.
Get it back quickly.
Yeah,
and let him rip
which I
away.
was like, I don't know, guys. I mean, he played well for us, actually.
At
Look
that
at his
point,
numbers.
I would have taken anyone over Brent Johnson.
Yeah,
I
go
was
with his-
not a Johnson fan.
You got to
I'll
get
pull
your
up his
body
numbers.
between Al and the net. It's as simple as that. If you can do that, Al McInnes take away 50% of his effectiveness because a lot of times he's going to hit you.
6 for 34 in the power play are the Blues in this series.
I mean, Blues have a pretty good power play here, too. McInnes and Pronger at the point with Gretzky, Hall, and Corson.
So Osgood's
Pretty solid.
only full season with the Blues, 67 games played, 9-10. This is 2003, 2004. 9-10 save percentage, 2.24 goals against average. 2.24 is flirting with his best ever. He had a 2.09 with Detroit.
I liked him here, personally.
It was just so hard to swallow after,
Yeah.
especially after this game, right? This game lives
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Not that he was really the reason. He was not the difference in this game. Casey was the better goalie in this game. He just had, one play he didn't get right.
I mean, we can talk about it when it happens, but about who was to blame on it.
Ollie.
That guy
All just
sucks.
went backhand, forehand, and whiffed on it.
Oh, what a save.
Save.
He had to react so quickly, and he just gloves it and holds on. What
An
a...
airy.
It's so
Airy-
amazing to me.
airy from
to
the slot.
To see John Casey play again in this series because he was
Keenan
marvelous.
said before the game, we can't give Detroit anything. We cannot give them anything. John Casey gave him a goal in
They're
game
giving him
6,
off a lot.
We can't give them
Casey's
anything.
just
They're
stopping
good.
him.
They're going to take as much anyway. And watch what happens on this
God,
play.
the skating of Paul
went
Coffey.
around the net
Yep.
and
We whiffed on the pass.
Courtnall gave it
Got
right
there.
to him.
Yeah, he whiffed on
Yeah.
the pass, and Courtnall said, "Here, I'll do it for you."
Yeah, he literally handed it right to him in the
And just
slot.
Before that, Peter Zezel shot that Chris Osgood got a piece of. But the Blues dodged one there after Courtnall put it right on Bob Airy's stick.
Some Blues player hits the post. Is it Corson in this game? Crossbar,
Corson.
maybe?
Yeah.
Corson.
I think it's Corson.
And the Red Wings hit the post, too. I think it was good. Shots on goal in the first period was 14-4 Red Wings. Oof.
They
Oh,
dominated.
that's a trip. No, wow. No call. Blues got away with one
There
there.
are no more penalties in this game.
Yeah. That was a blatant trip.
Oh, you're not going to be able to call another one, Kurt.
Still a penalty, whether they call it or not.
Man, I really want some Boston Market.
Are they still in business?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, that could have been penalty, too.
Get some rubbery chicken.
I used to like Boston Market.
Runny
Sandwich
mashed
good mashed-
potatoes.
They had some good mashed potatoes.
Mashed taters?
Second time we've been asked this question. Rogue Rick on Twitter, why are you guys doing this to yourself?
I don't know.
Because we won the cup, damn it.
Yeah, we won the cup and we can do this. Could have done this like the summer after winning the cup.
Well, you remember the summer after I finally watched the Jonathan Taves breakaway goal.
Yeah.
I had never seen it, even though I was at that game. So we are moving ahead here, about 6:48 remaining into the second period. Yeah, I had never watched that goal, even though I was there, because I literally closed my eyes. I was like, he's going to score. I know he will. Ryan Miller ain't making this save.
Chris Bray said the 2003 Vancouver series was another haunting series. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Osgood in that.
Yeah, but it was Mellenby's kid that undid this team.
Yeah, gave the team the flu. That was rough.
Yep.
Wasn't that? Yeah, that was Osgood in that, right?
It was.
Yeah. That was rough. Come on, Zezel. Use that
Blues
footwork.
are
There you go.
hemmed in their zone right now. They cannot get out.
There we go.
Oh. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Zezel, what a rocket go.
He blasted that shit, and I don't think Osgood picked it up to the last minute, which is why it almost went in.
Right.
Hits him, goes up in the air, arches over him. He kind of just falls backwards and catches it behind him. Oh, my gosh.
I remember jumping out of my seat at this point. My dad and I both.
That could have so easily gone in. He could have knocked that in so easy. Right? Oh, my God.
Yeah, if he would have flailed with his other hand, like his blocker hand, there's a good chance he knocks it in himself. But he was smart and gloved it.
This happened a minute ago before
Chris Bray. I haven't seen a shot.
Derek Sutton.
Ooh. Chris got into it.
You'll see that
A little
replay
bit.
of that save for the rest of your life. What an angle. That,
Pretty good save.
If you want to see eternity, that is a picture of eternity right there for Chris Osgood.
Well, unfortunately for Osgood, the highlight from this game is not going to be that save.
No.
That people remember.
Oh, I remember it now, but I
Yeah.
haven't thought about that since this game was played.
Yeah. If you think about, what's the highlight you want to see from this game? Most people are going to say the Yzerman goal.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
What
Yes,
I mean,
most
you know,
people would.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
Larionov sends it back. Larionov, the attendant, taken away by McTavish, trying to send it in. Ramsey's there. Cicerelli's already up front. They're going to go to the bench.
It is fun to watch this, though. I mean,
Knocked down by John Casey. Both teams changing the fly.
it's crazy. It's crazy what a cup does to games like this. This
Yeah.
game haunted me for so long. I mean,
Oh,
God, I just
so we're about 15:41 remaining into the third period is where we're heading now.
I
And
can't
again,
believe
no
0-0.
goal.
No
No
goal.
goal.
The Blues outshot the Red Wings in the second period 11-6, and currently outshoot the Red Wings 2-1 in the third. So the Blues are riding the ship a little bit after the
Great
first period.
save there by Casey.
Wings using those boards.
Lively.
Oh yeah, the goal to Joe Louis boards. Hated those things. God, the thing about the Red Wings at this time, and as much as I hate to admit it, I had a coach once tell me, he's like, and this was when I was really getting into like trying to play hockey and actually like go somewhere with it. I had a coach tell me once, he's like, I know we all hate the Red Wings, but watch the way that those guys can skate. He specifically called out Lidstrom, Fedorov, Coffey, and Larionov. And he was like, look at the way those guys move when they have the puck. They do not stop turning their legs. And it's just, yeah, like they're stick handling and peeking, and their legs are still moving. Like there's no slow down, cut to the outside. It's fucking hustle. You just keep moving.
Yeah. I mean, think about it today, right? The Avalanche are that team, right?
Yep.
The Avalanche and the Oilers. Constant movement. And, you know, McKinnon has the most busy hands, but, you know, to me, it's
look at that total just hook, whatever you want to call it.
I like where you're going, Bill.
This is the era of the water ski, right?
Yep.
But what I was going to say is McKinnon, like his hands are so quick, and I think that makes it deceptive how fast his legs are, and his legs are constantly moving. Right? He never stops. It's just, it's can be overwhelming.
It's the same with McDavid, because that dude, he will take a shot and he's still striding, like he's still taking strides, and it's like, how can you do that in one motion?
Did you hear how they described McKinnon skating? Or I think it was McKinnon. That someone described him. It looks like he's skating on one of those moving sidewalks in an airport.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's just like going, just like smooth acceleration, way faster than anybody else.
Yep.
I'm like, that's a very accurate description.
Everybody thought it was going to be. Harry drops it back into the middle. Shot Cicerelli. Save made. Casey.
There's another sneaky, amazing playoff performer that you forget was on this team. Dino Cicerelli. He was at the end of his career, but he was still a hell of a hockey player.
Tipped back the other way. Icing call here. Yes.
600 goals, all scored from 5 feet.
So we have moved to 3:17 remaining in the third period. Still 0-0.
Team scoring first. This one 5 of 6. Pretty good chance the team scoring first here is going to win.
You are correct. Whoever scores first will win this game.
With 3 minutes left in regulation. Yeah.
Earlier in the series, Game 4, Wayne Gretzky rammed that one home.
I love how there are little shots of Gretzky looking over his shoulder. He's still wearing a Kings jersey.
Yeah.
Like, just don't use that footage. Just don't use that stock footage.
Nate Anderson asks, will this be available to listen to in its entirety?
Yes.
If you're asking about us talking over it, yes. We will be podcasting this tomorrow, and it'll be a live. You can rewatch this video as well on YouTube and Facebook. If you're asking about the game, this game is on YouTube. You can find it. Just want to watch the game itself.
Chris Bray asked, do you think this series wore the Wings down for the Avs in the next series? Good question. I mean, because the Avs did beat the Red Wings in the next round.
Right. And then they get all the way to the final and sweep the Panthers to...
Yeah.
That was a hell of a story.
That was the year of the rat, was it not?
Yep.
Florida?
The rat trick, yep.
Yep.
Got Mellenby.
Total rat in the locker room.
Tim Taylor, the tool man.
Yeah. Pronger's riding. Who was that?
Marty LaPointe.
LaPointe into the goal. Oh, yeah, LaPointe. Man, I hated him with a passion.
Yeah, another guy I hated.
Him in his Boston days in Detroit. God, I hated LaPointe so bad.
Yeah. Nate Anderson, you my man. He says, love the commentary. I'm a huge Casey fan. I'm hoping he gets lots of props. Hey, on this show, we are also, I think I'm speaking for everybody here, we are also John Casey fans. He gets a lot of crap from Blues fans over the years because of that goal, but man, he was incredible in this series.
Yeah.
And the discussion of would the Blues have won this series with Fuhrer and net, I think people are way too quick to say, well, sure, it went 7 with Casey, we win it with Fuhrer. I mean, it'd be a really good, interesting discussion. I don't think it's as cut and dry as everybody says it is, because Casey played really well in this series, and in this game especially.
So
I would love to find Game 4 because John Casey made 29 saves in a shutout, beat the Red Wings in a fucking shutout, and that was a huge game that put the Blues up 2-1, right? 3-1. 2-2.
I did it.
I did it too.
No, the pure discussion.
See sorry, Bill, but Fedorov kept Gretzky in check.
Yeah,
in this game, and Fedorov just stole it from Gretzky when he came in. It would have been 2-1.
His helmet's off. Penalty.
I mean, I think Fedorov deserves a lot of credit for this game. Because, I mean, he shut down Gretzky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fedorov. He gets credit for all of those Red Wings games back in the day. He was incredible.
He was such a, I mean, I want to say underrated but it's weird to say that because he was an amazing player and everybody knew he was. But I don't think he's still gets more credit.
God.
Oh my God.
What are you doing, Johnny?
Hey, in the net.
What are you doing, Jake Allen? Oh.
And that right there at the Elks Lodge is when the entire lounge cheered. Because the volume, I think, was down on the TV out there, so I went in the coat room and watched it. And they cheered when they saw that because they didn't know the whistle had blown.
I'm pretty sure my dad and I were already standing at this point, but I'm pretty sure I jumped up in the air and my dad had to calm me down. That wasn't a goal.
Yeah, I don't think I sat
Oh my God,
for
Jesus
the
Christ.
second period on.
I will say, man, it's so weird because, again, I have not watched this since May 16th, 1996. That was when the last time I watched this game. And it's so weird, the memories that come flooding back watching this right now.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you'd be like, I remember that play. That's a hook, first of all, but nowadays.
Yeah, back then it was a perfect defensive play.
It still is. I don't know why they call those hooks.
I agree.
It's a stick lift. I guess it wasn't really in his hand, so it was a pretty good play.
Yeah. So I'll finish my thought on the Pure. If Pure was playing, the one thing is the winning goal is glove side on Pure, not blocker side.
True. That's a great point. That is an excellent point.
That's the one thing that's always sat with me, right? If that's Pure in that moment, I think he makes the save just because it's through his glove side.
I do too.
Although Yzerman may go blocker either way.
Well, I think you have to make the case that play probably doesn't happen with a different goalie in. I'm not saying that it swings either way. It's just the game is totally different with a
butterfly
different
effect, right? Every game is it may have gone 5 or 6 games. Game 7 might not even happen. Oh boy, was that blocked by Pronger?
I think so.
Or he just missed. And that centering backdoor one-timer just didn't connect.
And
that was it.
Take this moment.
20 seconds
in
on
the
the
Pure versus Casey discussion. I'd like to take this moment and again say, fuck Nick Kyprios.
Yeah.
That little missed one-timer there about 25 seconds ago was about 30 seconds to go in the game. Oh, third period. My God.
I actually kind of wish that would have went in then because I think it would have been easier to swallow.
No, then you got the whole. Well, remember how you felt when Colorado scored with less than 10 seconds to go against Husso?
Yeah.
And not only has he made the saves,
that sucked.
Who was the former Red Wing that scored that goal?
If you say it, I know it. I can't think of his name.
I want to say Applicator, but it wasn't him. It was the other guy. Other guy that was just like Applicator.
Anthony?
No.
Couldn't get it to sit. Yzerman sends it. McCarty jammed it. Down low.
There's literally a Blues player just sitting on top of a Red Wing right now, and there's no penalty called.
This was, I mean, you had to rip a guy's spleen out to get a penalty in the third period of a Game 7 playoff game.
Oh my God, we need to get another viewer right now. We're sitting at 91, which is making me think of Fedorov. So can we get to 92, please? Somebody tell a friend to tune in.
what the final score of this game is going to be.
All right, so we are going to skip through a little bit of overtime, get to 13:05 remaining in the first overtime. I didn't like cutting out any of overtime, but there's so much game in this that I'm like, I couldn't find another spot that I wanted to cut out.
I mean, so as Blues fans, you're obviously watching this just nervous as hell, right? But imagine Detroit fans watching this. Their historic season, 51 points better than the Blues during the regular season, and one bounce and they're done.
And was it 2 years or a year before when they lost to San Jose?
And they were known as chokers at this point.
Yeah,
they were. And they couldn't get done in the playoffs. Russians couldn't get done in the playoffs. That was the theme, right, of the Red Wings. Their great regular season team couldn't get done in the playoffs, and that has held true up to this point.
And it was all on Yzerman, right? He was the captain since the 80s.
Yep.
It was Darren Helm that scored the goal.
Darren Helm, that's it. Yeah, I miss those days when the Red
Here we
Wings
come.
were chokers.
Oh, and just what
are we doing?
That was
Monkeys
such
fucking a football.
a good-looking opportunity there. They just mishandled it inside the blue line. Turned it over. Nice little twist.
Corson came to life in overtime. He was
he did.
invisible in most of regulation, but
if you're not going to come to life in overtime of Game 7, when are you going to come to life?
Right.
Jeez.
Gretzky will send it in. Courtnall on the far side. Courtnall,
Ooh.
Ramsey, collision.
God.
Put the hit on. Up the near side boards.
Look at that hook. My God.
Bob Airy, McGinnis through that broken stick. Cecil comes back to help out. 3 back for both teams now. Remo checking Courtnall.
Pass behind Courtnall.
Fetisov looking in the middle, blocked right up in the air by Leach. Courtnall.
Oh, that could have been 2-on-1.
That was a
2-on-1 right.
hell of a play by Fetisov.
That was almost 2-on-1. Poked away. Right at the blue line.
Red Wings changing. Cicerelli stays with him. Takes the bump from Al McGinnis.
Look at Al. Big Al. Still such a, I mean, obviously 96. Man,
What an
powerful
amazing tandem. You always had either McInnes or Pronger on the ice. That's the way they typically did it. You almost always had one of them on the ice.
Yeah, you did not see a pairing of Huddy and Barron.
No. And in overtime,
Or Jay Wells.
there was always one of them on the ice.
And hey, honestly, I know kind of some jokes come from him, but Igor Kravchuk was a pretty good defenseman in his day too.
Kravchuk was had the third highest minutes played by a defenseman in this game for the Blues.
Here we go.
I keep seeing 36 in this jersey and wanting to think it's Robert Petrovicki.
I was going to say Philippe Ozon.
Oh, me too.
You stop breathing here every time you get into the offensive zone. Doug Brown back out for Detroit. He cleared it out to center. Murray Barron.
You see Nate Anderson's comment on Casey versus Fuhr?
Slow-moving puck. Creighton moving up on him.
Yeah.
He said, I like to think that in the Casey versus Fuhr discussion, Fuhr was obviously the backbone of the regular season, but I don't believe the team would have played as hard in front of Fuhr as it did with Casey in net. I mean, sometimes the team will rally behind the backup and play harder because they feel like they have to. But I get that idea. But
Philadelphia Flyers 2010 with Michael Layton as their goalie. Almost won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
We've got 9:33 left in this first overtime.
Especially when you see your backup playing really well. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
He is our backup, and he's out here busting his ass. It makes you want to work harder. So
Glenn Anderson leads both teams. You're not going to rattle Glenn Anderson
can't
in
anyway.
overtime. To be able to produce the way Glenn Anderson is produced, you got to be cool. He got it into the corner, then to Courtnall, and Larionov was able to.
I mean, just
Anderson and Coffee.
yeah, that's nice.
punches thrown. I love
Two guys,
it.
two guys that would never fight.
Near side, Igor Kravchuk. Kravchuk, the high flip out of the zone. Nicholas Lidstrom chasing it down. We had 4 penalties in the first period, 1 in the second, none in the third. the way they've played it. Wayne Gretzky shuts it down.
And Gretzky gets smothered.
Fedorov all over him again.
Yep. It is literally like when the Blues would tell Pronger, like, you're going to shadow Ginla. You're going to shadow Solani. You know, it is Fedorov is not giving any room to Gretzky at all.
I like how that icing went through the blue paint, so they waved it off.
Yep.
That's not a thing anymore. .847 left in OT.
OT1.
We are still at 0-0.
This, I mean, we've talked about like when your team is in the playoffs before. It's not fun. It is painful. It is. You are on the edge of your seat, and it is like you're just in pain. You just want your team to score so bad in overtime, and it's just your heart just goes through everything.
Yeah,
come on, beer 3 now, boys.
Nice. That was an incredible stat that they just put up, right? The Blues had the only 3 players in this game that had Game 7 winners.
Yeah.
But all with different teams.
Yep.
Was it Corson, Gretzky, and Mateau?
Mateau, yeah.
And Portnoy was just hauled down. Portnoy had a shot at a breakaway and he was hauled down. Yeah, I think he kind of dove a little bit, but watch this.
Courtnall dive? No.
It was a loft. It was a loft pass, right?
Yeah. McKinnon
And then
throwing it into an area.
Oh my! Yeah, he got ragdolled.
That's a penalty. I don't care if it went down. That's a he was wrapped around behind and pulled him down. No penalty.
Batiste off.
He was ragdolled for sure. Bill McCreary's like, you are literally going to have to pull out a gun and shoot someone if you want me to call a penalty.
Did you hear the commentary? Well, I'm not sure if he could have gotten the puck. I don't care. It's interference.
Yeah. Yeah, no penalties since 5:28 of the second period.
Doesn't matter if he couldn't have gotten the puck.
Halfway through overtime.
Near side McGinnis, his shot. That's blocked out deep by Ramsey. So many veterans playing in this game. Mike Ramsey's one of them. We've seen a ton of ice.
And there's no, like, the beauty I love of this overtime, too, is I'm not seeing any safety. There's a lot of times, even in Game 7, where you'll see some players that'll just be like, all right, I need to make the safe pass, make the safe play. Both teams are fucking going for it right now.
Yeah.
Like, there is no die. There is just go for the goal.
Chris Bray says, and the winning goal in a playoff game is either, like overtime, is either elation or a bullet to the head. That's true. Yep. There's no in between.
Why they call it sudden death.
Yeah, and when your team scores, it's like the elation is just so great that because you're like, yeah, I avoided a bullet to the head. Thank God.
Yep.
Pat Maroon, Dallas Stars.
Oh my God.
It's one of the hardest I've ever celebrated.
We should watch that game because there's a lot to unpack for that game.
Yeah.
The emergence of Robert Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
So many great memories from that. Sammy Blais, his greatest moment in as a Blue with the clap Bob breakaway.
That was Game 6.
That was Game 6.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that series. So many great memories.
Yep.
Oh, and the shot off the mask.
Yeah.
Before that,
the collarbone breaker. Yeah.
Center for now. They'll have some more coffee.
And Schwartz had to redirect out of midair too. After that,
yeah,
it was going wide. He had to put that thing on net out of midair.
The way this is going, Gary. I mean, I was
crazy.
serious earlier when I said, "Why does 2 a.m. Kind of pop into my head? 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't want to scare anybody. Once again, sleep is overrated.
Let's show the one without it.
I never understood, like, every player in the NHL is wearing a helmet, except McTavish. At least wear a Jofa. You know, something. Get something on you. I mean,
if that's how you've always played, though, it's hard to make the change.
His secret was 20 pounds of hairnet hairspray.
Yes.
Just as good as his Jofa.
There are a lot more Jofa helmets than I remember.
Oh, those things were...
They were all over.
They were all over, and oh my Lord, they did not protect you at all. I know a guy who still plays with his Yofa, and it's like it's a stretch to even call it hard plastic.
I have a Yofa helmet.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's old. It's super old.
Oh, we should. One of these times we get out there with Bill, you should wear it just for the hell of it. A stick and puck or something.
It might be a different model. It's the same idea. Same kind of thin plastic. Not a lot of padding.
I'm sure I can find one online. I should try to find one.
Fedorov got it up into the zone. Doug Brown sent it. Pronger, the hard wraparound. Brett Hull. Hull forcing Gretzky. Hull unable to clear on that one. They set Brown up in front. Yzerman in the corner with Fedorov taken away by Hull. Pushed out of the
We're at 7 minutes left in first overtime, and we are still at 0-0.
Oh, here we go.
Look at this. Here it is. Oh.
Is that on Corson?
It should have been the series right there.
Corson comes in on a kind of a hodgepodge.
And I'll say this. Whether Gretzky goes or not, Corson wins the series on that goal, he ain't going anywhere. Blues again do not acquire Pierre Turgeon.
Yeah,
because he is a Blues hero at this point.
Yep. Well, you don't know because Keenan stays and does crazy things.
Oh yeah, he just came in and tried to go 5-hole. Oh my God.
Great
that's on
read.
Konstantinov. That's on Konstantinov. He stole from
that's a
Konstantinov.
great read on Konstantinov.
Comes in alone, and Osgood just doesn't give him anything.
That's just hockey sense by Corson. Being able to read where Konstantinov's body was going to go, and then basically bringing his stick across his body and poking it away from him. Beautiful.
Oh, one time that. God.
And it's whistled in the corner after Draper covers it.
Look at his face.
Really felt the responsibility to get back and help.
Oh wait, that's next series.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was that. Yeah, that was that next series, wasn't it? And so yeah, the Blues could score in this fucking overtime. Chris Draper's face would have been saved. And the Red Wings
that's a consolation
Avalanche
prize for us, right?
And the Red Wings Avalanche series, like rivalry, wouldn't quite be the same either.
No.
Yeah, it got real nasty.
And that's what started it. That's what started it.
6:38 left in our first overtime.
God, it's so weird to think back and how Peter Zezel was a very central player for the Blues at this point.
Yeah, in his second stint with the team too.
Yeah.
Yep. I was a big Zezel fan. I liked him a lot.
Oh, I like Zezel. Great passer.
Yeah, great passer. Great face-off guy. Real good face-off guy.
Do you remember Gonzi's shoulder pads?
Gonzi's? Oh, yeah. I do. I remember the name.
That Zezel was part of that Flyers team that made those popular, and he wore them in his first stint here in St. Louis.
Okay.
It was like Mellenby, Berube, all those guys in Philly in the late 80s wore them.
I don't remember. Yeah, that was dangerous. I don't remember what they looked like, but I remember the name.
They were massive black
how is that
and
not a
orange
penalty?
things.
Pronger should have just gotten 2 minutes for absolute ragdolling a player. But wasn't a penalty back in the day.
No, it's a penalty, just not in overtime.
No.
Mike Keenan has to gauge first of all how much gas is left in the tank. And I think there's
Murray Barron.
Look at that pass, though.
It's
a beauty pass.
Out to McTavish, to Corson, near boards, shot, save.
Nah, not a good shot.
Nah, easy on the ice from the boards. Slow.
But hey, you get an offensive zone face-off. That's
true.
The goal there.
That's true. Got to win it, though.
Yep. Well, it's
Who's
way
out
up
there?
Peter Zezel.
Zezel back out there for the face-off?
I don't know. We'll see.
93, the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings. Game 7 ended right there.
Jokers.
Mike Vernon in goal.
Nikolai
It was not.
Oh,
Zezel, but they won the faceoff.
He won the face-off, but he won it too well.
Into the zone.
It was all the way out to center. Man, look at it. Just thinking about how much the Blues shortened the bench here. We're seeing the same, 9 guys out there.
Yep.
They should just triple shifted Gretzky to get him away from Fedorov.
Fedorov just would have stayed out there.
I mean, fine. And then bring Gretzky off, but put him right back on again. I guess Fedorov probably has a lot more stamina than Gretzky at this point in their career.
Well, plus you got home change too.
On the fly. I'm talking on the fly.
Yeah. Oh, look at that step up from Kravchuk.
Gap controlled by Kravchuk.
Mm-hmm.
4:41 left here in this first OT.
Oh, power play dance.
Who is going to be the hero? Couple of defensemen are trying
Should have benched Gretzky. Keep Fedorov off the ice.
From St. Louis. They are up on every play.
Well, we're 4:41 from joining that group.
Yeah, Chris Bray, you should count the number of ads of defunct stores and brands. Kmart starter, Big Boy. I haven't seen a Venture ad yet.
We'd have to go back to one of the St. Louis games to catch that.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they were a huge Blues sponsor.
There's a Venture store in, where is that, Bill? It's on the Illinois side. It's not Venture anymore, but you can still see the old signage.
It's the one in off 15 in Belleville, isn't it?
Well,
or is it?
It's one off 50. You can see it off of 54 or 55.
Big Beaver has joined the
it's
chat.
The one in
on the right hand side.
Exit. Yeah, the 111 exit. It's now a classic car place.
You can still see the black and white stripes on the side of the building, and the big sign is still has black and white stripes on it. Wow, that stick went 20 feet in the air.
Chris Bray says off 111, off 55.
That's
sound right?
That's probably it. Yeah.
That's not my area, so I
still
wouldn't
still the old Venture colors, but it's a different store.
Big Beaver. It's a shame you're tuning in now because you're about at where the worst moment in Blues history happens. Right? I was going to ask you guys that. Would you consider this the worst moment in Blues history?
I mean,
between this,
I mean, Gassoff dying is pretty bad.
Well, okay, on the ice, on the ice. Let's say that. I mean, you got the Bobby Orr flying goal, right? That's got to be up there.
Yeah, but you know what?
Throwing the puck in his own net.
Yeah, Bergman,
yeah, that was bad.
2000 President's Trophy.
Yep. Owen Nolan's outside the blue line goal.
Oh, that's up there for me. That one's just as painful as this one for me.
And Mark Bergevin's on this Red Wings team.
Yeah. Yep.
He was a
maybe
plant.
He was a spy for the Red Wings the whole time.
He was a plant.
Yep. Yeah,
for me, during my time as a Blues fan, this was easily the most painful. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's tied with the Owen Nolan goal in Game 7, just because that one had other implications for me. That was on my birthday. I was there. My dad had spent extra money so we could sit closer to the ice because we were certain the Blues were going to win that game. Like, worst experience in the arena I've ever had. And so that one, that ranks a little higher for me because of those other variables. But I think this one, overall, for Blues fans, this has got to be number one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it literally took 23 years to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it still really sucks, but
yeah.
But it's something that, because, I mean, it sucked at the time really bad because it's like, well, one more year without a cup. And then in years after this, it's like you look back on it, it's like you still hadn't gotten a cup. Oh, look at that. And you have, look at Zezel. You've got
to pass it.
Yes.
One time Zezel doesn't pass.
Portnoy's wide open going to the goal.
It's because he had that clap bomb that almost scored earlier.
Yeah.
Right? He thinks he's on a heater.
Man. Well, and, talking about the difference in this game, think about the snowball effect from this game, too. After this, how many years in the next 10 years did the Blues lose to the Red Wings in the playoffs?
Yeah, they couldn't get over. They couldn't get past it.
It was like after this moment, the Red Wings, the Blues have still not beaten the Red Wings in the playoffs since this moment.
No, well, and the Red Wings are now in the East, so it's kind of harder.
Right.
But
yeah, they bet, what, 4 more times? And they never once beat them in the playoff.
The last time they beat them was 91?
91, I believe.
Was that they came back from three games to 1 down?
Yeah.
That'd be a good Game 7 to watch, too. Because that was a close finish.
I went to a couple games in that series, too.
I think I have
At
that
the
game.
old arena.
Yeah, right.
Big Beaver says, I figure worst memory ponder was when Pronger was traded to the Oilers. Yeah. You know what's funny is that, I don't know, I was probably just trying to make myself feel better. Phrase I'm not thinking of here. In denial, I guess. I remember waking up that morning, coming downstairs, getting online, and seeing the trade happen with Pronger. And I remember just kind of sitting back and then thinking, Eric Brewer, you know, Olympic team, gold medalist. This other guy with Witka, this other guy Lynch, they seem pretty good. Seems like a pretty good deal for the Blues. Like, okay. And then, yeah, it wasn't until about a year later I realized how awful of a trade that was.
That no pass. He's a good passer, and all I do is just elevate it over his stick. That's it.
Yeah, fake the slap shot and sauce one right over Ramsey.
I mean, at least get it low on net for a rebound.
Goddamn Bob Ramsey.
Third baseman for the Cardinals, also playing hockey.
Why do you hate St. Louis, Bob Ramsey?
Bob Ramsey, that was Rich. Mike Ramsey. Yeah.
Mike
Ramsey for third base.
Yeah.
And
Bob Ramsey's the broadcaster.
Right.
That's what I was
Mike
thinking.
Ramsey, the hockey player.
Yes.
In this game.
Yes.
Longtime assistant coach in Dallas, was it? After his playing career was over.
You know, part of the reason why these jerseys are hated for me is that this was the Keenan era and bad memories, right?
Yep.
The worst moment in Blues history up to this point, for me anyway, for most fans, was in this jersey. Nothing good happened in this jersey.
No. I mean, the best thing to happen in this jersey was probably Gretzky getting acquired by the Blues, right?
Right. But then he leaves because of a
You instantly think of this moment when you think of Gretzky as a Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't too many moments, though.
So McInnes
First
trying
goal.
for the long range
First goal at
shot
home.
there. I remember going to a game at the old arena, so 93 probably. Shanahan for the Blues took a shot the length of the ice on Osgood, and it got through his legs and rolled towards the goal line.
Yes.
Yeah, I was in attendance for that.
Yep.
That was insane. And Detroit wound up winning in overtime, I think.
But remember the goal McInnes scored that trickled through his legs and in? And one. It was over? Was it overtime? Or
Yeah.
I think
late
it
in
was-
the third period?
I think it was late in the third period.
Yeah, it won the game.
I remember when he broke Osgood and Tebow's hands in back-to-back games.
Yep.
Threw the glove, and Tebow was like, okay.
Yeah.
Rip the glove up, rip the glove open.
Yep.
I
Tebow
remember,
was never the same.
I think it was Osgood when he did his. I remember him taking off his glove and just seeing blood on his fingers. And being like, what the hell?
With a wooden stick, too. Yeah, and this was still this was in the tail end of my my 100% eat, sleep, Blues hockey in my childhood. It was the late 80s to the late 90s. That 10-year span was just like, that's all I did. That's all I did.
Mike Keenan just literally would read his lips. Fuck you.
Hey, you know what? That's one of the things I miss about playing hockey is just the random fuck you.
Oh, constantly. I still do. I'm very friendly now is in a beer league. But man, that is still something that comes out of my mouth at least once a game.
Oh,
what a save.
Like 15 seconds into the second overtime, Fedorov is robbed by Casey.
14.
Passed by Yzerman.
14 seconds.
14. Oh, my God.
Such a stickler, Bill.
Let's right there.
How does that
get it right?
How does that happen 15 seconds in, guys?
No, that tells you right there. Yzerman wants it, and he's going for it. Like, he drives
Yzerman, again, at this point, 10 points in this series in 6 games.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, how does that?
And at this point, that's 39 saves for John Casey to Osgood's 28.
And the goal is not too much farther. It happens fairly early in the second overtime.
Yeah,
right?
unfortunately it does.
Wait to just watch for Gretzky to get possession at center ice.
Well, the thing is that Gretzky picks up. He actually makes the turnover himself. But he doesn't handle it cleanly, and he hands it right to.
Well, he kind of one-handed a puck that was kind of behind him.
Yeah.
He played it kind of lazy.
He did.
But then you watch Barron. Is Barron screen Casey? Probably a little bit. Not that it's Barron's fault. I mean, the shot's from the fucking blue line, and Barron's like top of the circle.
Yeah.
So
here it is.
Yep.
I usually turn it up for the winner. Not doing that.
Man,
I was already in tears at this
point. I know exactly how I felt.
Shock.
I know exactly how I felt. Yeah, like I couldn't believe it was over.
Well, and it's funny, right? Because now you're instantly like, okay, let's hope for an offside. Something crazy happened where they can review this. But at this point in hockey, that's not how it was. It was instantly like, game's over, series over.
The camera work too. They'll show the replay. Fucking amazing angle on this goal.
Yeah.
Oh. God, I'm having. Oh my God! You guys have that feeling in
there
your
it
chest right
is.
now?
Not as an ironic thing at this point. This is a top 40
Seriously. Do you guys feel that right now? I feel it. It hurts.
My only consolation is that the Red Wings lost in the next round, so they didn't get the.
And the Blues won the cup in 2019. That's what I have to keep telling myself.
It took them a while, but they finally got there.
No,
there's the bubble gum with Brian Noonan.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like, at this point, I am over it. Right? It's exercised. It
Fully?
hurts. Fully.
Yeah, it still really bothers me. Just because I just remember these feelings just come back. I remember exactly how I felt. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not near as painful.
This is the negative side of nostalgia. It's because I'm remembering how I felt right in this moment. That's why it still hurts.
I mean, it happens. I don't think I moved. I saw it go in, and I'm like, oh, that just happened. And I just sat there and stared at the screen. I don't think I made a single sound.
I will say that I was cursing John Casey, and I was wrong at the time.
Well,
I was sitting here going, fuck John Casey, fuck. If Grant Fuhrer was in goal, this wouldn't have happened.
Well,
but I mean, that was emotion speaking.
This one shot, yeah, you got to stop this shot. But I don't care how good a shot it is. I don't care who's shooting it. Blue line, it's up high. You should stop it. He's a stand-up goalie. He should have this.
And and the fact that we went 2 overtimes and this Blues offense was supposed to be prolific and they didn't score one damn goal.
Gretzky Hall.
You can't just blame Casey or Barron. Like, Where's the offense? They should have scored.
No, I totally agree with you. But I think in the moment, Casey allows a goal from the blue line.
Exactly.
It's like
that's why I was cursing him at this point.
Did you see that sign? Hey, Colorado, you've got no snowball's chance in here.
Huh.
Yeah,
how'd that work out for you, buddy?
Fuck off, Detroit.
Then what happened?
Yeah. I think the only reason I still have this running is because I have the replay coming up, and then we'll close it out.
Honestly, the replay is in a fantastic angle, and you get to here it is. Well, this isn't the angle, but
there's the one-handed Gretzky.
Yeah, and he
turned the wrong way.
He turns the wrong way, and Yzerman's got all kinds of space now.
It's a screen.
It is a screen. Well, but what's Barron going to do? I mean,
it's a perfect shot.
It is
perfect shot.
And I'm not taking anything away from Yzerman's shot. It is a laser beam. But again, I don't care who you are, especially with Casey being a stand-up goalie. But I don't blame this game on Casey at all. Even though I think you got to stop that shot. But
I don't blame him at all. But fuck you.
I don't know. It was let me get the.
I got it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Damn it. Sorry. Yeah, it's oh god, I do still feel it, man. It's weird. I agree that it doesn't hurt as bad. When I saw that goal, I mean, you guys know as Blues fans how we just watched it 4 times. That's probably the 6,000th and 4th time that I've seen that fucking goal because the NHL loves to show that one at playoff time.
It's part of their playoff highlight package, right?
Yeah. And so it's like every time I saw this before 2019, I remember even in 2019 seeing it, and the Blues were in the Stanley Cup final, and I'm sitting there like, please stop showing that. Please stop showing that.
Yeah, and you know why it's so. You know why it's so bad is that goal is also like been amplified to worst moment in Blues history is because Blues fans are forced to relive that fucking goal every single playoff season when the NHL does.
Is part of it.
It's part of their montage every single season, and Blues fans got to watch that goal every single season.
So I akin it to I have a friend who's a Sabres fan, and he says that the hardest part about the whole goal, and he said he even said this with the whole goal at the time it happened, we're going to have to watch this all the time. Like, this isn't just something that happened and then it's like, God damn it, sucks, but whatever. Like, no, we know we're going to relive this all the time. And I said that's exactly how Blues fans feel about the Yzerman goal.
Yeah. And thank God for 2019. I mean, it came 19, 22, 24, 23 years later, whatever it is, but finally, right? It makes that game more of a annoyance as opposed to just a complete depression session.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, like watching it tonight, it's perfectly fine with it. At the time, it devastated me.
Oh yes, it's a good word.
Yeah, I remember one of the friends that I was with for that game when it happened live emailed me. We kind of lost touch, and she emailed me right after the Blues won the cup, and she said, "Hey, congratulations, your guys finally did it. Thought about you." And I responded, I was like, "You were there the night my heart broke."
Yeah,
and I have not gotten over that since, but now I am, and I was able to make peace because of that.
What's funny?
It was a cool moment.
What's funny about that is that goal is that it wasn't like it didn't cost us the Stanley Cup that season. It wasn't like in the Stanley Cup final.
Right.
It was in the second round.
But I mean, everyone was picking the Blues. Like, everyone said, this is the year the Blues finally get over the hump.
Oh, were they? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I remember pundits saying the Blues were going to win the cup that year.
They were 2 games under 500 when the playoffs. They were like, they were one of the.
But they
worst
just got Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, I don't.
Grand
I mean,
maybe
some were saying that, but
Fuck you, Nick Kyprios.
Fuck you, Nick Kyprios, son of a bitch. You know what, man? You know what I should do? I probably won't because it'll give us a blacklist mark. I would love to get Nick Kiprios on the show, act all professional, and just be like, "Oh yeah,
Fuck
we're here with
you.
Nick Kiprios of whatever fucking terrible
TSN or
news
whatever he's on.
organization that hired him because you should never hire an idiot like him." And oh yeah, Nick Kiprios, former Maple Leaf, scored this many goals. Nick, thanks for joining the show. Oh yeah, thanks for having me. Fuck you. And then just sit and stare at him. Yeah. Fuck you. Thanks for coming on the show, and then just hang up on him.
Right. We're gonna show you pause, think about it for a second, and then fall backwards on a Grant Fierce knee over and over for the next hour and a half.
That's a good idea. Just show him the video too.
Yeah.
And just be like, all right, walk me through this play.
Right.
Well,
walk me through this play. Fuck you.
He has since said that he dove on him on purpose. B&H Kel in the chat says, YouTube chat says, Blues were highly favored in this series. There's not a chance in hell.
I'm pretty sure they were
in this series.
Yes,
the Red Wings just set their all-time record for wins in a season.
Again, you think about the way that the Red Wings were known as chokers, and how the Blues had Hull and Gretzky and Fior and McInnes.
I remember. Do you know? I remember. Do you know? I remember after the Blues got Gretzky. I remember the issue being the Blues still weren't that great. They weren't winning a lot of games. It wasn't as expected. Hull and Gretzky weren't working well together. They split them up.
Specifically, hearing somebody say on ESPN or whatever, saying if the Blues can get past the Maple Leafs, they will win the Stanley Cup.
I don't recall that at all, and that would mean that. How can they say that? And now I could say I could maybe understand it if they said they got past Detroit, because Detroit was like a juggernaut. I mean, I know that they
were chokers,
but you can't overlook the best team in NHL history.
Right.
In the second, you can't do that. I mean,
right.
I'm just trying to be I think I'm being logical. I think, but I don't know.
But it's again, I know they're not as good, but you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nobody picked Toronto to win the fucking first round against Boston this year because it's Toronto. And that's what people were saying in the 90s. Detroit won't get past whoever they place in the first round because it's Detroit. They're chokers.
If Toronto had beaten Boston, best record that Boston set last year, if Toronto had 70 wins or something stupid, you don't think people will be picking them for the cup? And this is finally the year if they can do it. They've got the team this year.
No,
I think you'd see a lot more of that. I think you would.
You might see it a little bit, but
sure.
I don't.
I'd see it a lot.
I don't think you see it a lot.
Sure, I think you would,
because they're known as chokers. And look what they're doing again.
But okay, well, they're forcing the game 6.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game tomorrow night.
Me too.
Well, you know what? Boston, the last 2 times Boston has had a 3-1 lead, they've lost it.
Right. Florida last year, Toronto before that.
Yep. So
I wasn't even watching. Did the Kings lose?
No, it's they're going to. It's 4-2 with 5:14 to go.
Actually,
I just saw Sports Center was on, so I guess they were just giving an update on something.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, this was fun, guys. It was interesting watching. It's nice to know Bill's over it. Kurt and I are not. But it is easier, right? It's a lot easier to stomach it now.
I'll never get over it. I mean, it's always going to piss me off. But
no,
it's not devastating to me like it was up before 19.
Right. No. You have all the life you've lived between there for additional context. And, it's like, the worst breakup you ever went through, you're pretty happy where you are now. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
That's a very excellent point.
That's true. I mean, Bill, you mentioned you had somebody reach out to you after 2019. Same as me. I dated a Red Wings fan for a couple of years a while back. And, and I didn't tell my wife this, but she did reach out to me
because you were married at the time.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. No, she did reach out to me after the Blues won the cup, and she did message me and say, because we had a pretty nasty breakup. So hearing from her was very odd. But yeah, she did say, hey, now you can finally get over the Yzerman goal, right? And I was like, nah, still fuck that goal. But yeah, it does feel a lot better now.
Yeah. No, my worst breakup of all time, probably, or the most heartbroken I ever was. She was a Red Wings fan too. So
who's that?
Yep.
Kiva.
Oh, she was a Red Wings fan? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She
was a Fedorov, specifically a Fedorov fan. Well, right.
Her and Touche would get along then,
huh? Yeah.
Well, and for me, why this game was, we all, obviously Blues fans all have their own story as to why this was so bad for me. It was because being my dad, again, this was the year my dad believed this is the year we're going to do it. And, being 11 years old at the time, I was like, yeah, Dad, you're right. The Blues are going to win the cup. I'm in tears. The Blues lose. And I'm like, they're never going to win again. My dad agrees. 97, 98, 99. Never going to win the cup. They're going to lose. It doesn't matter. 2000, my dad was insistent. Roman Turek was the last piece this team needed.
A lot of people were.
Yeah, I know.
He was
one of them.
He was the guy to get out of Dallas, right? That was.
And at that point in 2000, I was 15, and I, felt like I really understood the game at that point. And I was like, yeah, I'm not as sure about it as you, but their path is there. They can do it. And so I was insistent too. I'm like, if they're going to do it, it's going to be this year. Then they fucking lose in the first round on my birthday. And I'm just like,
a shot from
fuck Yzerman, fuck Nolan, like fuck the Blues. Like I was like, they're never going to do it. And that's why I said up until 2019, when I was actually confident in that team, that's why every year I said Blues are never going to win a Stanley Cup ever.
The Kings are not going gently into that good night. Adrian Kempe with a beautiful redirect in the high slot.
Is that like 2+ minutes left?
Yep, 2:18.
That's a great deflection. Oh, double deflection.
So the end of this series, or actually the end of this game, John Casey, 1 goal against, 40 shots against, 975 save percentage.
Yeah.
He was great. You can't ask for anything more from your goalie.
Well, you can ask for one more
save. You can ask for that one save.
It's such a shame because you see it today. You see a goalie stand on his head all game long and allows a soft one, and then everyone blames him. It's just like that's unfortunate.
Right. But I mean, we talked about watching that, right? Fedorov shut down the greatest player in the history of the game.
Yep.
Didn't have a sniff on goal in that entire game. And that probably one of the things that isn't talked about a whole lot. Just because, the goaltending battle that was. But, what comes down to it, Glenn Anderson and Peter Zezel, second line guys on this team, had the best opportunity. Well, I guess Corson, the 3 best chances. So
guess how many shots?
Yeah, I mean,
that's good. 2 shots on goal this game. Here's a -1.
How many
we did
Hall
talk.
have? How many did Hall have?
Let's say the only time we talked about Hall,
one. Hall had 1 shot.
The only time we talked about Hall this entire game was when he whiffed on that shot, right? Like he didn't have any chances. And yes, this is again twilight year of Gretzky and Hall, but still, they're your go-to guys. Hall still, what did he put up that season? He still had a good
70 goals.
Yeah, he had 70 goals that year.
That's ridiculous,
right? And he left here to go win the cup in Dallas and then Detroit. Right. And to me, that was the salt in the wound.
You know what? Brett Hall and Shanahan.
Hall had 43 goals that year, by the way.
No, he didn't. He had, what?
You're looking at 70 games played.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
In 95, 96. Yeah. 43 goals, which, I mean, even in the dead puck era, 43 goals is great.
Murray Barron had more shots on goal than Hall in that game. Barron had 2. And on the ice, so Corson, Barron, Gretzky, Hall, McInnes. So it's Barron and McInnes on defense.
Man, Hall's last year here, he only had 27 goals.
How many games played?
66.
See, people thought he was kind of done. Or or not done, but he was never going to put up what he had before. But he became that role player in Dallas and Detroit.
He learned the Hitchcock system, which was hilarious because no coach could get through to him in St. Louis.
Right.
And
I mean,
somehow Ken Hitchcock did.
Yeah, the hook to the face by Dedo there.
Yeah, right.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean the story of Hull's exit from St. Louis, right? Fires a shot at Quenneville's head, and Quenneville fires right back at him.
Yep.
Right? Because Hull said, "I'm not playing defensive hockey." And he gets traded to Dallas and becomes a Ken Hitchcock disciple.
He didn't even play that much in that deciding game in Dallas because he was hurt.
Put up 39 goals in 2000-2001 in his last year in Dallas. That's pretty damn impressive at that point in his career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For such a defensive-oriented team.
Yeah.
And he got Hart Trophy votes that year.
He played both ends of the ice.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this was fun. I'm not as sad as I thought I would be.
No.
I'm gonna close out this episode. I'm be like, why the hell did we do that? It was fun. It was cool seeing
it's
a lot of the old names. It was a good fucking game, but because you're a Blues fan, you just don't want to ever rewatch it.
Because all the people that chimed in saying, why are you doing this to yourselves?
and had you not watched it, you are still not able to get to closure, right? So tonight was about closure.
I'm gonna sleep well tonight. That's a good point, Bill. Baked Beaver says with the 2 finger pointing emojis, insert fingers on nipples drunk hole. Yeah. That was a great moment.
He was that. I mean, that is. I love the fact that not just the Blues winning the cup, but there's a number of whole moments where he yells, "Let's go Blues!" top of his lungs, bending over backwards with a microphone on the ice, and then when he's on stage saying "We went Blues" and the nipple thing and flipping off who did he flip off? He was giving someone the finger.
It was the Bruins player. I think it was the Bruins as they were skating off the ice.
It was just, Hull was all over the place, and that was just,
yep.
Love it.
My favorite is just hearing the story about how which I'm just like, what are they thinking? The Blues, whoever the PR staff was, telling people at the parade, don't let Brett Hull have the microphone.
Right, yeah.
What? Yeah. You don't think these drunk-ass Blues fans, you don't think they want to hear from drunk-ass Brett Hull? Like, what are you thinking? And plus, who's going to tell Brett Hull, no, you don't get to speak?
And he sings Gloria. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you imagine if that didn't happen? Oh, my God.
Oh, there's just so many. It's like Hull was living vicariously, right?
He was.
That was so great.
He wanted so bad to win it here.
He did.
And did it as an ambassador. But
I mean, you take what you can get. But and he wanted so bad to win here, and that showed because his playoff numbers, he produced in the playoffs. I mean, not in this game.
Yeah, he did.
but he did produce in the playoffs quite well.
Red Wings, Scotty Bowman teams, man, they knew how to shut down the best players, and that's what they did.
And it's interesting too because Keenan, the Blues were able to shut down Detroit for a good chunk of the series too. So
yeah.
We should definitely do a Hull heyday game.
Yeah, we should. Maybe his 86th goal game or something.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. That was something that we didn't really mention. Was there was a game I just closed it like an idiot. I want to say it was game 3 or game 4. The Red Wings put up an 8 spot on the Blues.
Game 2. It
was game 2. And so, like, that inflated. I mean, we mentioned Steve Yzerman putting up 11 points in the series. That inflated a lot of the Red Wings numbers. You take that game away, like you mentioned, all the like big stat players like Fedorov and all those guys that did put up some points. You take that game away, the Blues were great at shutting down their star players.
Let's see how many. I'm looking at Yzerman had 5 points in that game.
Yeah.
So
You take
2
that away,
goals, 3
he had
assists.
6, which, 6 points in a 7-game series is pretty good, especially
6
with one
points.
game when your team shut out. But still,
6 points in the other 6 games, and yeah, that's credit to both teams, right? Because I mean, they shut each other down in the 7th game. I mean, there were some good chances. There was some good goaltending in that 7th game, but
yep. Bake Beaver adds talking about Brett Hall. He deserved his Mike moments. Yeah, I agree.
100%.
And that's what I don't get is the Blues gave him the microphone for what was that, game 1 or game 3? When he did the Let's Go Blues thing, loud ass into the microphone, but then you're not going to give it to him on parade day? Like, what are you thinking? Come on.
It's not as formal of a setting either.
Yeah.
You're in the Arch Grounds. It's like,
right.
Give anyone the microphone that wants it, as part of the organization. Who cares?
Agree.
Half the people in the crowd are drunk anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
So.
And the rest are kids. They're just there to have fun and dance around like idiots.
Right.
Like the drunk people.
You don't want it to be boring. You don't want the
No.
parade, the event to be boring. You want what we got, actually. So
I'm a hometown hero, baby.
Yeah, it's still weird to me, but I get it.
That was the cringe part for me.
It was cringy. When I heard it too, I'm like, oh, that's cringy. But it's like legendary now. It's still cringy.
It was still funny.
It's funny. It's cringy funny.
Well, guys, I think that'll do it.
Yep.
For the show.
And Edmonton has eliminated LA. So
I'm looking forward to talking to Eddie tomorrow.
Solidarity, baby.
That's right. We're together. We are one. Anyway, well, guys, we will be back all summer, so keep that in mind. Anybody listening to the show, again, we won't be live all the time for those of you live listeners, but I will premiere shows on YouTube, so you will be able to still comment live, and I'll be in there most shows and be able to talk with you as well. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, we would just not be doing these live shows as much, but keep in mind big news moments, Blues make a trade, Blues hire a coach. What else? Free agency, draft. We will be having live shows at those points because those are obviously big moments to be talking about the Blues. So we will be back plenty live, but again, a lot of this is going to be pre-recorded stuff. We all have lives too. So
yep.
But
Bill, we're gonna put
looking
some
forward
marks on this game.
Looking forward to getting Bill back on the ice. That's going to be my favorite part of the summer. So,
yeah.
Kurt, maybe we'll get your ass out on the ice too.
I'd have to buy all new equipment, and no, I think I've.
What size skates do you wear?
What size skates did I wear? I wore them smaller, 10s, I guess.
I've got
maybe
10s.
Yeah.
We'll talk. But either way,
okay.
Bill,
right.
I'm looking forward.
They're
forward
to
to
be
you back on the ice.
goalie-centric sessions. You don't even need shin pads.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we'll probably just be doing stick and pucks and shit.
Yeah. Well, I'll come out, and I actually sold the last pair of skates I had to play it again.
Well, you could just be
for
our
a pickleball
too.
paddle, right?
No, their pickleball selection kind of sucks.
Oh.
No, but no, I
give it a couple years. I'm sure Play It Again will be a huge pickleball spot.
They've got some stuff there, but it's all new stuff. There's not a lot of used stuff there yet, but
I'm sure it will be. After a couple years, guys will start saying, I'm gonna get rid of my pickleball stuff.
I play more pickleball now than I ever played hockey in a week. Granted, it's easier.
Awesome.
I don't have to gear up or anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little different. You don't have to shower right away because you smell awful.
I mean, I'm not lugging a big bag everywhere. I do have a big bag, but I'm not. It's not the same. I don't have to get ice time. Or
Kurt's got a big bag. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. It's easier. I just drive down the street and just go into the courts, and
Oh yeah, I get it. All right. Well, folks, we'll be back all summer, so we look forward to it. Thanks for joining us tonight. This was a lot of fun. So support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Email him at mike@strikewithmike.com today for all your home buying and selling needs. That is Mike@strikewithmike.com. that will wrap up episode 29 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook and Twitter live chats during the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Kurt Price and Bill Day and the bubblegum blowing Brian Noonan, as well as the absent producer Austin, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, fuck the Red Wings. Fuck Nick Kyprios. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
You thought I was going to say, son of a bitch, didn't you?